least to start seeing Lotus a little bit, it's going to be important because for this OQs, the way that they have played out mostly, it's almost always how they get into it and how they play it around it. How effective can they be to what they're showing, and how much can they find in the initial parts? And then also importantly, that they don't suffer an upset out of nowhere, because a random upset really can affect the whole bracket for everyone. So it's important to be on your toes, ready from day one.
Yeah, it definitely can. I do think like round two is going to get real interesting. All right,
Yeah.
when we got Repi Berras up next, we already know it's going to be Repi Berras up next because they have a bye in round one. They're actually a couple of seeds above Lotus, but yeah, 99 Gorillas is 3 gold players and 2 silver players. We'll introduce their lineup in a second, but these guys are taking an alternative clash approach today. I think a little bit more than they are making a gun for the NACL. So it's going to be good fun for everybody. I'm pretty hyped for what we're going to get to see out of this Lotus roster, though. Let's introduce the rosters today. I think we have graphics for that. Let's start off with the Lotus lineup, who we're going to be following the whole tournament long. It's Porsche in the top lane, Chad at jungle, Robbie Bob at mid, Chrome at bot, and Claritz at support.
Yeah, pretty. I would say just stacked roster. Honestly, there's a really strong roster they have. Porsche, Robbie Bob, evergreen players in what would be the OQ system, the tier 3 system. They have always delivered whenever they play here. And Chad and Chrome, previous NACL players, 2 players that I think are good enough to be able to be there. Particularly Chrome, or is good enough to be there. So certainly going to be a team that you have to always be wary of. And I think Chrome particularly is going to be the main carry point of this team.
Yeah, and these are Porsche and Robbie Bob have played together in a number of OQs previously. They were on the previous Lotus lineup back in 2024 that made it to the promotion tournament and was very, very close to getting into the NACL proper. They did lose 2-3 to Pulse Star. Chad, been through the gauntlet before, has made it into the NACL, played on a couple of different NACL teams. Chrome in the same territory, fresh off promotion just at the beginning of the year with conviction, and was even on Blue Otter this split until some issues with their ability to continue playing. It did come up, which led to him coming down, joining up, playing on both an ACL team in Papa's Chonks, and now joining up with Lotus for the OQs as the rest of this lineup playing at ACL under the Lotus banner just fine. Reptile, I think, not eligible for NACL Open qualifiers given his active participation in ERLs.
Lucky. That would have been really funny to actually see him play here on the side. And I think that probably would have been Lotus's idea. But if you change Reptile for Chrome, I'm going to be honest, I think you're still getting a really good AD carry. If not for what NA is, probably a much better player for NA, I would say, in Chrome. That being said, obviously changing dynamics, changing a little bit of how the functioning or functionality of the team is going to look like does certainly impact. But I'm excited to see how Lotus is going to tackle this sort of things.
As am I. And with that, do we have one for 99 Gorillas? Can we introduce 99 Gorillas? We can. It's Hiceratops, Erwin Smith, Brave Enough, Termi 99, and Rorico from top to bottom. Hiceratops and Alistair main coming in the top lane. And
is it a top Alistair main or an Alistair main just in general?
He's got more games on Alistair than anything else. I do not know at a glance. It looks like he probably plays at support, kind of flexes his time between support and top. So, but of course, Rorico will be the starting support for this team and is also the highest peak rank of everybody on this team, peaking at 2023 Platinum.
Okay, fair enough. I think obviously this is one of those teams that is built for the dream of being able to qualify with all your friends when it initially came out with the idea that they had with these OQs. Will it work out? More than likely not, but it's still something fun to see how they can play. And we've been having some surprises occasionally working out, like the caster team that almost made something happen and they didn't, but they almost made it happen. So why not try it here?
Yeah, certainly. And, it's going to be, these are always the games where you got to ask yourself, the each important question, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Because that's what Lotus is going to do right now. They're going to go in They know that they're probably going to win no matter what they play. What do they choose to play with that knowledge in their back pocket? Is going to be the question. I'm excited to see what I assume is going to be a little bit more of a bot-centric team. I really like the duo of Chrome and Claritz. Claritz has been a player that's been a sub on a number of NACL teams over time, but hasn't really
Yeah.
gotten too many OQ runs under his own belt for that reason. I'm very curious to see how he's going to look bot lane with Chrome throughout this OQ.
Yeah, it's an interesting changeup that I think he has had to deal with, and importantly, it's a really strong bot laner now that he's going to be playing around with. I don't think particularly Chrome is one of those star laners, I would say. Like, I think Chrome almost always shines more whenever a team fight setting happens, but I think having someone as experienced as Chrome in how he's played, and especially playing with really good supports as well, I think overall really gives you a different outlook of how to try and go for different things. And I think Claritz Chrome may be a really interesting duo to try and play around with. That being said, I'm expecting Chrome to shine more when it reaches the later stages of the game, whenever he can team fight and get out of lane more so than in lane, even though he can still get solo kills eventually or occasionally.
I think anybody could for this first matchup, but
True.
Apparently IRL friends from Ottawa is what we're hearing about 99 Gorillas. Props to them for coming on out here. Hope that they've done some of their macro lifting, done some of their lane
5
swaps.
friends and a dream.
There's two different levels here, right? You got your basic solo queue ranks. It's probably a good signifier of your ability to predict upcoming actions of the game, your ability to actually mechanically play, your ability to get through some basic hurdles. But there's also elements of lane assignments and swapping and macro play that tend to not come up unless you're in organized fives. So we'll see how they look at that department as a crew that knows each other for real, and can try to show some of that synergy through today as they face off against Lotus.
It also sounds that at the very least, even if they lose, they probably are going to have a good time because they are friends. So it makes it a little bit easier to try and play around with. That being said, obviously,
and I would be yelling at each other within the first game. I'll tell you that much. It's not to say that for free.
I agree, but at the same time, I feel like that's still having a good time until you lose. But it's still a good enough ideology to try and play with. And hey, who knows? Maybe they pull off a good cheese here and there. Maybe they find a good opportunity to try and get something out of nothing. Like they have so much to win and so very little to lose that I don't think it's going to matter that much.
Now, should be getting into draft before too long here. Lotus going to start off on the blue side as the higher seed. 99G is a baller tri-code. I got to give it to these guys. I think this is somebody who's going to make a team next year and make a deeper run. Take notes, actually. 99G, number letter feels like untread ground. I don't think, like, other than 100 Thieves, who's really done the number letter setup of tri-codes. I think
we're missing number letter.
It's passing initial tests to me. It's a cool.
If it works, it's good. I like some of those tri-codes. Some variability in it, and it's easy also to say it, so we don't have to overcomplicate ourselves for most of the time to try and mention their names. I was going to mention as well, I'm glad we didn't get one of those teams that have questionable names that are impossible to say or that are not allowed to say. So I'm glad that at the very least their names are good. Their names are controllable.
Let's go. All right, they're doing draft in game. So either Caddy's going to have to recreate draft for us, or we're going to have to just stream the client live. I hold up a little bit until we're going to be able to get this draft graphic populated.
We'll just have to wait, but at the very least, it does mean that it's going to be a little bit quicker.
Okay, wait, we got a little something cooking here.
Caddy knows what he's doing. It's fine.
Yeah, well, we'll get there one way or the other. Otherwise, it's going to be a fun day of games. I'm excited for the Reppy Bears matchup that's going to inevitably follow this. I mean, it'll probably be Lotus against Reppy Bears, but if it's 99 Gorillas against Reppy Bears, I think that matchup would also be a whole bunch of fun. Yuumi ban kicking things off, already going to be taking the cat away from, I guess that would be Rorico's Yuumi.
Yeah, I'm probably assuming that their bans are going to go towards the higher tier player. That would make the most sense to me. Not necessarily because you're scared of anything, but you don't want to like give their best player anything that they can play with. And also, Yumi's just bothersome to deal with in general. Kog'Maw also getting attention here, and obviously we're going to see a lot of bans going all over the place because compared to actual teams that actually play, like most of the meta picks are going to go out of the window. The meta picks are going to come for Lotus, not the other way around.
Yeah. Trying to see if we're spelling something. I don't think so. YKF. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll see if the second phase bans start. Maybe these are just directly... No, these are just targeted bans. Brave Enough plays more Kog'Maw than anything, and there are more Fiddlesticks is on Termi's account than anything. Hovering
They're
over
technically taking it serious.
Yeah, they're banning away the most played. They're banning away the champions that they're the least familiar with as well. I'm sure Fiddlesticks and Yuumi, not things that you get to see in comp too often. So don't want to take any unnecessary risks. And Lotus, what do they pick when they aren't afraid? They first pick Porsche's Gwen.
No, they aren't afraid to pick anything else. So hey, well, I'm fine with a win. It is a champion that if you just get a one solo kill, that snowballs into destroying the rest of the game. So why not just go for the consistently good champion? As on the other side, champion that I haven't seen in so long, and I still think that it's really good, but obviously there's other issues that maybe are preventing players from actually picking it. But the Vel'Koz can be really fun and Singed as well. And this is a pick that I've seen Quacks try and boost up as much as possible so that people will begin looking into the Singed. And I do agree to a certain degree. I think the champion is underlooked and can be really strong if allowed to play correctly.
It's been given some buffs. This is the most played top laner from High Ceratops as well, so getting a little bit of comfort underway there. Vel'Koz actually a pretty consistent pick of Brave Enough, their mid laner. So I suspect this is a mid lane Vel'Koz that Robbie Bob just locked Zed into. Ooh,
that's gonna be fun.
Good luck, Brave Enough. We'll see how this works out for you as the immobile mage facing down Robbie Bob's head. And Soraka gonna come through for Rorico to try to keep everybody alive.
Soraka can work in a lot of situations. I hate the champion with all my life, but not because of her viability, because of just her. And I hate that champion so much. But in general, it does provide really good things. You have the healing, you have the extra value in general to try and provide for the rest of the team. And then the global ultimate that can save someone in case Zed is trying to assassinate you. That global ultimate can really come in clutch in a lot of situations. So it's important to try and keep an eye on it as much as possible. As far as AD carries with the pool that is left, well, actually, there's a lot of AD carries still available, so you can technically go for anything. And it doesn't look like they are going to ban away most of the AD carries either. I'm not sure why that Garen ban is coming through, because Gwen is already picked, but there must be a reason why.
I mean, there could be some amount of respect given towards the...
True.
Nah, I don't really have a good answer for why you're still banning Garen at this stage, but at the very least, want to keep yourself safe against any support Garens that might pop out at the last moment, I suppose. And Warwick going to join the list as well.
Yeah, they are banning a lot of things that I'm not sure why, but you know what? It's fine. At the very least, they did ban away 3 champions that I was expecting to get banned away anyway. And then for Lotus's last ban, there's not much to say. They probably are going to target ban another person, but we'll have to wait and see how impactful that ban is. Because typically it would be something like an Asir or a Corki or something like that. Something that actually has an impact. But the Nunu here, not necessarily, actually, I'm not even mad against banning the Nunu here. That champion may be really bothersome to try and deal with biggest noble ever. And then also the ultimate in teamfight situations with so many close range champions can be scary as. I don't think I've ever seen Briar in a competitive game. At the very least, I don't think I have yet seen her myself.
It's been a while, if so. Yeah, it's definitely not one we've gotten to see a whole bunch of. Lotus now looking at one of those Lucian duos for their bottom lane. Kind of got their pick of the litter here between the Braum, the Emilio, the Nami. Do you think the Nami going to likely be the selection here? And it is still slightly favored above pretty much all the other options, especially in most generic setups. Oh, wait, maybe not. Nami's been taken back.
So they can go any enchanter AD carry just because they are going against the Soraka. That means that they do have choices to try and play any enchanter really without having to worry about getting engaged on. And I'm thinking if maybe Vel'Koz is actually going to be played in the AD carry with the Soraka and then they played something else in the mid lane. Could be an adaptation as well to consider just in case.
All right, I am hearing there is a dodge in the lobby, so we need to
Of course.
find out if there is going to be a change away from that Nami. I do think it's pretty likely that it ends up
More than
being the
likely, yeah.
Nami, but there's room for it to be the Melio or the Braum too. I guess really, I mean, you can pick whatever champion you want as Clarice, but I do expect that the most likely one is going to be that Nami and Melio, or even the Braum if you do want a little bit more disengaged. You have a selection, but the 99 Gorillas comp, it doesn't feel like one that you really need to go for the disengagey options towards. It also doesn't feel like the kind that you need that big AoE cleanse. So if you're not going to have either of those, the generically powerful one in the Nami seems like it is likely the correct choice. Also curious how much Chrome is leaning into like the super aggressive Lucians that we see today, where you can like,
if you want to go for a game with that,
like there's
this
people
has to
going,
be
like,
the game you go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if this is ever a game to do it, try to completely blow up the Soraka, you could do it here.
Yeah.
So might be an option for Chrome if he is leaning into that territory.
Yeah, overall, it just feels like that's the right idea or the right approach for them to try and take on. Because once again, this is the game that I'm more than likely expecting them to try things out. Like the skill difference, the rank difference, the team difference, it's just so big that you have to pull it something like that off here. And also, just quickly mentioning, like there's no big tank on the side of 99G that's cinched. It's going to be essentially played in general in that idea with that in mind, but it's not really a tank champion. So you can just opt into any sort of aggressive bid that the Lucian can try and go for, and that way they can just try and get a kill.
Yeah, as we are trying to get ourselves back into the lobby after it has been dodged. So looking around to make sure that we have the comms that we need to in order to get on in there. In the meantime, this draft will be rounded out here before too long. Only one more selection left, and it is probably the marksman for 99G. So they are likely, I would think, to go for, I mean, they play Xayah and Kai'Sa more than anything. Both of those are still up and available. I think Xayah does not go amiss here, especially facing down the Vi, as well as a potentially difficult matchup into the Zed and the Lucian.
Yeah, in general, probably could be one of those choices that could work out, but it's one of those things where I think it probably makes the most sense, but I don't think it's going to be that impactful when thinking about just in general because of the difference. But I'm like with the Lucian here, I'm just expecting them to end up going for something like that and just try and close out the game really early. Because there's also a scenario where it's just a snowball with the Lucian so heavily that doesn't really matter what else they pick on the other side. He just kills everyone with the help of the Nami and help of the Melio as well. Like the extra range from the Melio means that you get your damage out pretty quickly, and if it's the Nami, you get just a burst damage even quicker. So there's way more tools if you actually end up going for that. And since everyone is squishy, it's pretty comfortable for them to try and play it out.
Yeah, so we will see what the reason is for the dodge, but hopefully we will get draft back underway before too long. Make sure we're going to be able to get everything started in a timely manner. Repi Bears are, of course, waiting for this series to finish on out, so we'll be watching with impatience as we get into game number 1 to see who the opponent will be, whether it's going to be Lotus or a 99 Gorillas. And
it's the advantage of having the Vi.
Yeah. Is for sure. So likely going to push them into that Xayah territory, and still expecting the Nami to be the lock-in for Lotus, but we do not know as we've lost the chat from after the dodge occurred. So we will need to wait and see who is going to be the selection at support for Lotus and for Clarice.
Yep, just waiting. Well, technically, we could just have the supports already if they want to mix it up randomly. Like it's a buy support actually instead of an actual jungler, but there's always room for anything to happen like that. I'm more surprised that we haven't seen like a cheese like that from 99G actually, because that's the team I was expecting to be cheesing their way. Like, yes, they did pick some random champions, but I was expecting a little bit more cheese here and there, like Viper's Riven.
I was gonna say, what are you expecting other than the Vel'Koz singed Soraka Briar draft? I think we're about as off the wall as you're gonna end up in modern Fearless League of Legends. This is a best of 3, by the way, so they will get another shot. Called the Xayah.
Of course.
Give me that, baby. That's a win in the Gordo column. as we should be getting into spec delay here very, very shortly, given that we've finally rounded out the draft.
Yeah, and since it was essentially just a draft inside of the client, it should be much quote unquote quicker. But in general, the idea, I think, just like you're mentioning, probably just try and play it off, get towards the late stages of the game, and be able to kill some of these champions. Because technically speaking, Lotus's late game is not that strong compared to 99G. But really, for them, it's arriving to that point. They can, in any way possible, get to that late game and be able to play it out.
Yeah, I mean, in the later game situations, you can definitely expect to see, like, Briar can get pretty goofy, especially with the Soraka, like the amount of healing that's going to be available in the kit there, a lot of straight up damage as well. So opportunities to, in the face of disrespect from Lotus or a lack of anti-heal, going to definitely get themselves into positions where it would be tough to actually finish her off, and then maybe can rampage through the fight a little bit that way. Definitely feels like that's the path to victory here for 99 Gorillas. Get a pick on somebody, get a good jump onto someone with that targeted smite, or targeted stun rather, and see if you can use that to be able to come on out with the win using head rush.
Yep, maybe it can work out that effectively. I honestly do not know absolutely any ability of the Briar, by the way, so I'm going to be blanking on them pretty heavily. Like, just as a side note for everyone that it's more than likely not going to know this, I absolutely failed the ultimate test for the caster league, and 100% I did not know what the heck the ultimate from Briar was.
Yeah, no, I did not know the Briar ultimate either. I lost on that one. It's Certain Death, for those curious, is the name of Briar ultimate. But yeah, that's certainly not a phrase that's been said a whole bunch of times since that champion was released. We've seen very, very little competitive Briar play. And 99 Gorillas going to look to change that. They're going to get one on our screens, at least for this game number 1 today. And they're going to get around to the lower bracket as well to potentially show it again.
Ideally try and make it work out then, because they technically do have a much better time, or it's going to be quote unquote much better in the lower bracket than here in the upper bracket, since they are closer in level than what would come out here, and that's a quote unquote closer in level, not realistically, but it's probably the best way for them to really make it out, or just try and have the surprise come through here, which can happen as well. Why not?
All right, we are getting some word that there may be some emergency substitutions going on. So when we get all of that resolved, we're going to throw it to a quick break here. We will be back with game number 1 very, very shortly.
To break their spine and reclaim what once was mine.
top lane, I was seeing the Soraka and I thought, wait, what?
Oh yeah, we do need to
Yeah.
switch up the
I
scoreboard
was
here.
just so confused there.
Triceratops will be in the top lane on the Singed. Termi in the jungle on the Briar. Rorico its support with the Soraka. You'll see if all this ends up being enough. I do want to call out Chrome does have the Ignite on the Lucian. He did go for press the attack rather than electrocute, but it is still an aggressive setup on the Lucian. Looking to bring some punishment here for this Soraka Xayah lane.
Trying to make it so that their lives are going to be miserable, and I think that's the right approach. Make their lives miserable. That's the way to try and win that lane. As with that in mind, I'm kind of curious if we're going to get a lot of solo kills or just a normal, non-chaotic game. I'm not expecting that at all, but I kind of want to see if it ends up happening maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a question for 99 Gorillas, right? How disciplined and conservative are they going to play these lanes against players who know these matchups like the back of their hands, know what the most powerful options available to them are? Like you can see already at level 1, Mr. Irwin Smith steps up, throws out double daggers, takes a Q double auto from Chrome, and is at half HP. Those are the kinds of things you got to make sure to minimize. If Lotus sees a trade opportunity, they will take it.
Yeah, they want to try and make it so that they can maximize their damage. And look at that. Yep, already less than half health, taking also the exhaust. So that means that healing-wise, you're going to be lacking a little bit as a Soraka in the lane. And then it's just going to be difficult to really see these trades work out for them. They have a lot of control. They have a lot of value. Only real lane that they have control on is mid lane, and it's because it's melee against range. Really nice knock-up, though.
Yeah, Chad coming in for this gank in mid. Brave Enough is going to be forced to flash there. Yep. Just a little bit too much threat from the incoming Chad. Chad did flash as well, so it'll be a trade for that mid lane gank. But pressure being kept on this Vel'Koz, who's going to be under significant threat here throughout this laning phase.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure that they are going to try and face here. It's going to be a lot of problems that they are going to try and face here, and any attempt at now trying to follow up is going to be really scary for them as Chrome. Yeah, no, not scared at all. Immediately Ignite as well.
Yeah, it does get the exhaust right back onto him, though, which keeps the trade not too disparate. Irwin Smith doing his best to be able to scrape together what bits of farm he can get. Does get tagged by the bubble, though. Chrome flashing forward, and first blood is secured for Lotus. Now top lane going at it here. Rourke going to be taking some damage from Triceratops. In the presence of Termi, going to make this plenty difficult. Rourke is going to flash to keep the snips going to pick up a solo kill in the 1 versus 2. Can he outrun Termi, though? No. One more flash will secure it back. It's 2 for 1 across the board.
Yeah, but at the very least, it's a kill for kill, and that top lane
Brave is
not
dead.
That would win. Ooh, okay, Brave. Yes. Yeah, yes, he died. I wasn't sure at the end there. That was too long for it to come through, but they get the kill. And that's
I didn't expect Robbie to have to flash, but they get there.
I don't think nobody expected Robbie to have to force more than what he did, but a kill is a kill. He's also not running Ignite, so technically speaking, it's going to take a little bit more to be able to get the kill, because Brave Enough is running the barrier, and that means that his survivability was going to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, doing good work there to be able to keep himself alive, eke out a couple extra resources, as every lane has now gone down at least once. This is not the start that 99 Gorillas would have hoped for. See if they're going to be able to pull this one back. Success from Termi so far. Been picked up 1 kill, arriving to the bot lane as they look for a second. Already tons of damage coming out from Chrome, though. Irwin already effectively taken out of the fight. Clarit's going to land a bubble, but the stun will come on through, and Termi might be able to pick this one up. Summoner heal comes out of Chrome to be able to buy that little bit of additional space. Return fire from Chrome, taking Termi low. Chrome's going to be able to finish off one. Irwin looking for the blade caller for the snare, cannot connect it, and Chrome now chasing Irwin on the wrong side of the map for a double kill. Rorico trying to turn it back, will connect once more off the star call, and Clarit's I don't think has the juice to win out this one-on-one. Rorico's beating him down. Robbie Bob gets a solo kill. Rorico trades flashes, he's under the turret. Oh no, it's gonna end up being an execute. Lotus gets nothing for that one.
Damn, that is suffering to the greatest degree there, because not only do they not get anything back, Lotus got what they wanted out of that. They are 6-2 now. 3 kills for Chrome, 2 kills for Robbie Bob, nothing for the other side. And yep, it's the sort of game we were kind of expecting, really.
Yeah, that's you know, there's a little bit of fiesta coming on through here, as is often the case when you got a gold team in the OQ. Oh, brave enough. Taking a rough chunk there against Robbie, but Robbie may have overforced his hand here a little bit. Taking too many turret shots, and Termi is here to try to punish. Does not have the flash, so I don't think head rush is going to be enough to close that gap. Although here comes Chad in the bottom lane, cease and desist right onto Irwin. Has barrier, but not much else, and I don't think barrier is going to keep him safe. Won't even expend it. Chrome gets his 4th, and Chad's still looking for more. Rorico healing off the star calls. Will probably be able to stay alive.
Are we sure about that? Yeah, we're sure about that.
I spoke too soon. Clarit's taking up the aggro. Good juggling there from Lotus, as any circus should. They've got their juggling down pat, and this will be another win to Lotus.
And completely good deserved kills that they are sending there, because one is for the 80 carry, one is for the support, and now even more kills down here as well.
It's
hey, maybe Chad gets one as well here.
Somebody put on the Careless Whisper. Anybody remembers that old YouTube video? Diving folks as they return to lane, a time-honored tradition. I think Rourke is gonna get this kill. Yeah, Triceratops is nowhere to go. Great name though.
Yeah, it's a good name. Not a good start to the game, but a good name nonetheless.
You can only have one.
At the very least, he is 56, yes, and to the 58 from Rourke. Where if you look bot lane, it's 62 to 24 for Chrome. Like, that is just a complete and utter destruction in the bot lane.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, like, Irwin and Rorico should be like their strongest lane. They're both gold players. Yep. Rorico's the highest peak. You know, Termi is silver 4 and Triceratops is silver 1. But Triceratops is the one who's kind of holding his own the best here. Got to hold that one over your boy.
He is playing against the sub, technically speaking. He's playing against the sub from
True.
Technically.
But listen, you don't need to get into details like that when you're trying to flex.
Yeah, actually, I shouldn't even bring details here, because the only detail you need to know is the gold against a challenger team.
We're here to take sides in the eventual argument between the participants on 99 Gorillas. And so far, firmly in the Triceratops camp. Rorico's getting chased down. I think Chrome and Claritz are about to put another one in the tank. Claritz steals it with a bubble. But it will be one over to Chrome. And now here's Robbie Bob looking for the solo kill on a Brave Enough. Connects the last shuriken, and Robbie Bob gets his 3rd. Oh, there's Certain Death. We called out that ability name earlier. It's gone.
So I was going to ask you, actually, who do you think will get a kill apart from Termi?
Oh, I don't think anybody's going to get kill apart from Termi.
Oh, you don't think they get any more after this?
I mean, Termi might. I don't think the rest will.
Yeah, I'm sure Rorico will not.
This is going to be, yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of bot lane ganks, and they've pretty much all gone this way.
Yeah, it turns into a situation where they're just ganking bot lane on repeat and killing them consistently. I'm not even sure if they count for gold anymore, actually.
Not much. They count for a non-zero amount, but that's the best I could say.
Now the only choice is to see what else is going to happen with the amount of gold that they have, because we're just 9-10 minutes in, and we're 3k gold away from having a 10k gold lead from Lotus. For Lotus, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, how quickly will they end the game? You know, maybe that's a conversation we can start having. Will it be 320? I think at current pace, probably not.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that would be the case.
Termi got the grubs. Termi's kind of styling on Chad here, if you think about it.
Termi's actually jungling.
It's securing objectives.
Hey,
I didn't catch exactly when that was. I guess it was when the solo kill happened mid and he threw out Certain Death. I guess he was taking the grubs at that time. So
it's still enough that he gets good value out of that.
So. Okay, here's Chrome just trying to kill more folks. He and Clarice looking for the 1 versus 3. Irwin with a big root. There's going to be the laser, and there's a kill to Brave Enough. Another certain death comes through and whiffs, but Clarice might go down to Brave Enough here as well. And you know what, TDS, that's a win for you. The mid laner does walk away with the kill. Rorico trying to flash away. Chad still going to connect with that Vault Breaker. No cease and desist for about 10 more seconds, but Q's coming back up, looking for more. Robbie Bob in on the flank. Chad picks up Rorico. Termi watching as this goes down, but spots Robbie Bob and thinks better of any desire to engage. Brave Enough about to fall down. One more Q will do it for Chad. Nice tectonic disruption, but it will not be enough. Chad on a killing spree.
I think that's a win for them, considering the fact that, first of all, Rorico did sidestep the Q from Chad, and then also the kill that you get from Brave Enough. It's a huge shutdown as well, so he is now closer to that first item that will not be that big, but it's important anyway. And some things you have to play for, the small things that you're able to accomplish here, the small things that you're going to be able to get for in general for your team. And he also gets a blade, so see, it's those things that are going to turn around the situation, maybe.
Brave Enough first item Zhonya's. That's that rate's pretty high in the cowardice index. I'm not gonna lie to you, TDS. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pump out enough damage going Zhonya's first. See how this pays off. It's a 4 versus 2 in the mid lane. Chrome and Clarice have shown an intense willingness to go for these today. Trying to kite out, opening up with the culling. Termi gonna have to flash over the wall. High Ceratops flashed as well. Now cut off from the rest of the team as Chad gets in for the engage. Chrome gonna pick up his first kill with that. Another Vault Breaker connects, a double kill over to Chrome. And the Gorillas, I mean, there's only 79 left, TDS.
Yeah, there's only so much that they can do in that sense, but you know what, I think they're another kill. That's
all right,
already
let's
more.
go. Shutdown gold being wrapped up by Brave Enough. Gonna spend that all on defensive items. Chrome gonna be able to pick up a killing spree again as Termi falls down once again, and I think with that, Brave Enough might take over the title of wealthiest member of 99 Gorillas.
We actually could check and just see who is actually the one with the most money.
2 shutdowns. It's surely Brave Enough.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else has enough. Oof. Oh, Robbie Bob is going for another kill.
Looking for it. 8K. There we go. Number 2 is High Ceratops. Number 1 is Brave Enough off that last shutdown. Thank you to Caddy on production.
And Ceratops quietly just getting all the value in the top lane by just virtue of him being there.
Yeah. It feels weird to say this, but it feels like a low jungle impact game, actually. Chad maybe 3-0 and 8, but other than just showing up bot on cooldown, hasn't really done too much on the top side of the map. Robbie Bob kind of just been doing his own thing. Rourke as well.
Yeah, they've been trying to do what they need to without... I'm not sure this is going to work out the way they think it's going to work.
Oh, wait, that was actually a connection of the cert. Termi going to be able to get into this and make it an unfair fight. Unfortunately, who is it unfair for as Robbie continues to find good damage?
Yeah, it's certain that for whom.
2. Gonna get blasted there, kiting it out. High Ceratops taking a lot of damage. This is not a tanky singed. This is a Leandri's first singed. And culling might be enough. Oh, the knockup is beautiful. And it's a kill back to Brave Enough. Lasers Chrome in the face. Life Form Disintegration Ray for another one. That kill actually going over to High Ceratops. Well-timed Zhonya's. That's what you paid for. Chad goes on a rampage regardless.
It looked good. It's certainly not that good, but it looked good.
Oh, Termi spotted, down 3 levels.
There's ulti steal.
In his own jungle, trying to stay alive. Will stay alive, but will be muscled out of his own red side. Robbie's taking inner turrets, meanwhile. It's 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, of course he's taking them there, but overall, it's just a...
Oh, Rourke's getting inhibitor turrets. He's 1 layer higher, actually.
Wait, Rourke has just been on the side lane quietly, like, hitting turrets and that. Like, he has not attempted at doing anything else.
The fact that High Ceratops got a kill should have given it away. Yeah, Rourke has been left alone for a long time.
Maybe he's just taking into account his role and realizing that he absolutely has nothing to do in this game apart from just win it.
Yeah. For anyone just joining us, Rourke is in as a substitute. He is meant to be the coach. for this Lotus team. Porsche is the intended starter, suffering some technical difficulties at the moment, but do expect to see him back for a potential matchup against Reppy Barras after this 99 Gorillas game. Claritz sees Brave Enough chasing him down. Chrome, I appreciate the willingness to throw away his own KDA here. He's playing this one fast and loose. Termi is on the flank. It's a good idea, but it will not follow through. The teammates are not allowed to get there, and the gold difference is just too massive. Triceratops going to be able to throw out there. Do you get the stun to Chrome off of the fling into the adhesive? So well executed there. Oh, wow, the flash forward from Irwin. Looking to clean up as many kills as he can. Chrome still playing it up on the brink. Brave Enough stepping forward has been the one to pick up shutdown so far for the Gorillas. Can he find another angle? Rourke coming in on the side. Goes to Mune, snips forward. Chad goes unstoppable. Following it forward onto Rorico. Looking to claim some more, but Irwin is there to fend them back with the feathers. And Lotus will stay standing.
You know what? At least Rourke decided to participate with the team. He's coming here and actually trying to be a part of the game, which I think that's fine for now. As yeah, the minions are coming into the base. Nobody has even attempted at taking a dragon. The only objective, oh no, actually, because Chad did get the herald, but I was going to say the only objectives taken were the grubs that Termi got and the herald that Chad did get.
Is this
so overall 1-for-1 in objectives?
Game? I don't know that I've ever seen a dragonless game.
I think I saw it once, but it was a gold tier game. I will say so.
Well, have I got news for you, TDS, about what we're watching here? It's going to be Lotus.
Are we calling Lotus a gold tier team?
Triceratops taking him down. I mean, look, Lotus. We'll see how they do against Reppy Barras after. Then we'll determine what tier of team they are. Chad getting over there with another punch. 6-0-8, 50% KP. A clean game for Chad so far. Him and Robbie Bob, the only ones deathless. Let's see if they're going to be able to keep it that way.
Chrome is just going to the back and getting kills because
I love it, dude. Chrome is having.
Yeah, you know what? He's understanding
this game with the right attitude, and
exactly. He understands what we want to see, not what
he just popped culling there for a little bit of bonus damage on Aurorico. Triceratops going to be able to fling him back in, and now stuck inside the Equinox. Can't get away. Rooted, slowed, unable to dash, and taken down by Triceratops.
Root into silence, into just getting killed. And actually, funnily enough, if not for the fact that this is a game between gold and challenger players, like that is an actually really good combo to play against a Lucian that is wanting to try and get his resets on the E. Like that silence into the root is just so strong. Also for a Gwen.
Dude, we're gonna have 2 games of this.
Are you not excited? Are you not entertained?
I'm gonna be completely dumb by the time we get to the series against Reppy Barras. That's my answer to that question.
There's a famous song about being numb. It's fine.
Like, you ever blow out your palate on like a meal? Like, you eat something with a really, really strong flavor to start things out, and then you get, you know, an appetizer or something, and then you get the main course and it's significantly blander and you can't even taste it. I feel like that's what we're gonna have in today's 2 series.
I don't think I've ever experienced that, but I understand the feeling of that.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. We're watching the Singed Briar gameplay. How could later series live up to this?
This is speaking to
Chad on the Rift Herald.
Hey, at least they use the Rift Herald. I'm not sure if they are going to get the Dancing Herald, but at least they use the Herald.
Ooh, into the backline goes Chad, and he and Robbie Bob are here for the damage. It won't quite be sub 20, but that is it. Lotus has decided the game is over. Can they keep Shelly alive? I think they want her to dance.
I think they're going to try it. Yeah, I think
they want her to dance. This is going to have to be a really fast win, though. No, yeah, the turret switched aggro to her. Maybe in game number 2, boys. Got to be more strategic with your approach if you want Shelly to dance. But in the meantime, 35-6. 64 Gorillas remain, and Lotus is up 1-0.
Wait, that was quick maps. I was just going to say 1 Gorilla remains because they only have 1 life left, but close enough, I guess. And yeah, it's not the kind of game that motivates you for what's going to come, but at the same time, it's a kind of game that it's really funny to end up seeing. So I'm all in for this. Like, I'm fine with this overall.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of takeaways for this
Yeah,
game. I think is what we're going to conclude. But
I
you know,
think the takeaway is Chrome tried to make it even more
this is
entertaining.
part of the tournament, all the same. So we will have ourselves a second round here. Shout out to 99 Gorillas. If we could get you guys in roll order for game number 2, that would be nice.
Please, please, that would make things way
Aside
more
from that,
easier.
no notes. Let's see what they've got to show us for game number 2.
Only note is please play something similar to the first game and make it interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how can you live up to this draft in game number 2 when all this garbage is gone? You need to pick new garbage.
We see things like, wait, what is a forgotten jungler that nobody picks?
Hang on. Let's get over to the list of champions. And
I mean, you can take Evelyn, I guess.
yeah, you can take Evelyn. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to pick up something that's like not a real jungler. I mean, what about Nyla jungle is in this patch, isn't it?
Oh, true. Nyla, Nutgol.
Yeah, I mean, Nongle is real. Nyla jungle Welcome back, everybody. Tonight's broadcast of a public execution as the Lotus takes on 99 Gorillas in a best of 3 for NACL qualification. Will likely be up against Repi Barras in the next round, but we do have a second game to play through. First things first, as let's get into these drafts. 99 Gorillas moving over to the blue side. We got to put a 1 up there for the Lotus. There we go. 99 Gorillas taking to the blue side. They're going to have the first crack at the champion pool. God forbid any of these picks get taken away by Lotus. We'll see what they're going to be able to go for in this circumstance.
Yeah, what are they going to be able to steal from Lotus, right? What is the main thing that they are going to take away? You know what? The Aatrox, a much more consistent pick that I was expecting to see ban away. It is Porsche back as well, so I think banning away against him makes sense as well in this situation. Now, will they be able to find anything similar to that first game where they had pretty interesting picks and no hope at all? Maybe.
I know. I'm hoping for, I don't know, who are our goats that never get selected? Shaco. Been a lot of Shaco dialogue lately. LS thinks that Shaco's the most underrated champion in 2 different roles. We'll see if 99 Gorillas.
I think support, I agree. I agree in support, particularly,
yeah,
but I don't know the other role, to be honest.
The other role is jungle. Not a pink ward believer. Nunu!
It was banned away in the previous game.
This is something that you thought about. A little inspired tech, a little North American classic. And I mean, hey, if Doran doesn't know how this champion works, what chance does Lotus have?
Well, they do play against Inspired, so maybe more.
Yeah.
But now it's on Lotus' side. They are going to be opting into the boring. Well, actually, Mbessa, that's boring. But hey, Bolivar, I haven't seen that in a bit. It was attempted at being brought back, but failed. So glad that they are going to attempt at playing the champion here, and I'm excited to see how Chad is going to pilot it. If it's Chad, because this could technically be a flex mid lane Mbessa, top lane Bolivar. Technically.
Yeah, Alistair going to be the selection. Wait just a damn second, TDS. This might be Alistair top for Triceratops. If we dare to know.
But is it? No, it's Alistair top is now played AP, right? Because I remember when Alistair top was meta, it was
not played at all. I don't know. I can't have an answer for you.
It was meta once. I do remember it, but like I remember it because of videos, not because I actually played in that season.
Yeah.
And Kai'Sa. That's the boring part of it.
No, that's a TP Grasp of the Undying full tank Alistair in this man's match history. This is top lane Alistair that's been locked in.
Okay. At least we're adding the spice here. We're adding the secret sauce into some of these picks. And the sideless. See, Lotus, I understand your picks. I'm bored about them, but I understand them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now what else to come through here? There's a lot of options still that they can try and pick and ban away, and find it funny that the Yorick is attempted. Obviously, well, the Yorick makes sense as a ban here just because it can be quite troublesome if it gets played rightly, and it can find a lot of spaces to try and make a lot of impact into the game. But I think for right now, more than likely I would be expecting, if it wasn't the Alistair, I would be expecting a tank top laner more so than anything else. Teemo ban, of course.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I introed when we came back from break, I said it was a public execution and Porsche locks in Mbessa. Let's go.
He's attempting his best at making it real.
That's what I mean, either these guys are listening to stream, or more likely I'm getting visions of the future. The selection coming on through is Volibear, of course, for Chad in the jungle. Love to see some Chad Volibear. That's Alistair top lane, as we've established. The Kai'Sa going to be bot, and I do love me a Silas into Alistair. Robbie having access to that unbreakable will, almost an undying rage.
Undying rage
really
is
strong ability to get. Well, what about Tryndamere? What if we get a Tryndamere? What if we get EP
nice
split push Tryndamere?
Hey, you could take Tryndamere mid lane against the Silas. I think that's fine.
You could.
I think that's an okay matchup, as Yunara does get picked a much recent champion, so that means that she's getting more playtime.
Everybody on Lotus is picking their own champs, by the way. They're going to do no trades.
They're just going 1-for-1. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's not necessary to try and go for trades at this point. As for the remaining, but it is a mid lane Talon, not a jungle Talon, because Talon was becoming more of a jungler. It is now going back into the mid lane.
Dude, I'm really getting tested on my ultimate knowledge after we did that quiz for fantasy football draft order TDS
I'm sure.
because oh
I don't
man,
even remember the ultimate, and I
Talon
played
like
that.
Blades? It's something edgy. It's like Blades Shadow or
I
something.
don't know why I thought Blade Surge, but I think Blade Surge is his W.
Blade Surge is Irelia Q.
Oh, it's really a Q.
Shadow Assault. That one's
Okay.
called a Shadow Assault.
That doesn't sound that good, but hey, Shadow Assaults. So, well, as it's not like Silas gets a huge amount of body from Shadow Assault, he gets invisible. So maybe that's the body there, but he probably will kill you if he gets on top of you anyway. So it's not like having the ultimate or not matters that much.
Yeah, Blitzcrank lock-in. That's a party. Love to see it. Melio going to be the counter selection, and I mean, is this even that sick of a Melio angle? I don't know.
I think picking it into the Blitzcrank is a bad idea, but I'm pretty sure they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know what? This is the time to shine. We've talked about it before. Rorico's the highest ranked player currently and the highest peak on this team. He is going to carry from the support position if anybody is, and getting the Blitzcrank
he has to try.
the opportunity to do so.
He has the tools to try it, and if he grabs the Yunara, the Milio, like they can kill them very easily. So, all in all, not a bad choice. I thought that was Kaiser mid lane for a second.
Let's go. All right, our boy High Ceratops bringing the silver one, Alistair top tech to the NACL qualifiers.
It's fine. I'm pretty sure Porsche has never in his life faced that.
Idios, remember when this was the most prestigious tournament we would cover all year?
Those were good times.
I'm just curious. As we get into game number 2, let's see what Chrome can do here. He is going to spot the early invade again. This is the exact same early invade that 99 Gorillas went for last game. That one was also spotted out by Chrome.
They are trying their best to find a pick that can work out. And you know what? I'm fine with them thinking that can work out. Like, if it works once, that's already looking good. So I think the attempt is fine.
Oh, that was weird. I don't know if that was a spectator bug, but it felt like that Q didn't move Talon. Here's Rob finding Brave enough. Brave enough for us to flash. Oh my god, Clarit's 100% accuracy rate on these balls. Ultra Mega Fire Kick, leaving no survivors. Another one connects it. Double interrupt on the recalls.
That's painful.
Call him Messi, baby.
And that's painful now because it's already minions into the lane. So if it was going to already be difficult, it's going to be even harder now. And oh no, Chad has a ward here. He can try and go for this.
Chad, is he just going to hit the S key? Yeah, he is. Oh boy.
Does he just smite it, or does he go? Yeah, I was thinking
he's looking for the battle. Oh no, Termi, the level 1 Nunu smited away from Chad. Give the boy a break.
Was that needed, Chad? Was that really needed?
Yeah, I mean, but for those just joining us, 99 Gorillas is a gold and silver team. They are the lowest seed in the open qualifier that did not fully fill. And so we get a bye for a lot of highly rated teams, and Lotus right on that cusp. They are the highest rated team to not receive a bye. And their reward for this is that they get to play against 99 Gorillas.
What a reward, right?
That's the best time. I mean, it's our reward too when you think about it. There was
true. Hey, some would argue that having playtime.
Oh, that's it from Rorico. That's gonna be a kill.
Let's go.
And Rorico, 99 Gorillas on the board.
I call that 100 Gorillas because they actually hit that hook perfectly there, and we're about to see a double kill.
Oh, the isolated Cathian raid. One more. No. They can't do it. What a shot from Rorico. Chrome, somebody clip it. Somebody tag him on Twitter. He's down 0-1 against 99 Gorillas.
Oh no, Termi may be dead here. Nah, he's fine. Oh
no, he's not fine. Chad with the flash interrupt on greatest snowball ever. Where is the frenzied maul? Termi forced to head back in the other direction. Robbie gonna flash in, finish off that kill. Here comes Brave Enough.
No,
Ready to
wait.
go back. Will be able to give it over to Rorik, but he is gonna fall down.
No,
There
no.
will be more kills coming in from the side. Clarit still with that
Chad is just
100%
healing.
connection rate, and Chad will not fall down.
Chad was just healing and healing and healing there in that situation, not allowing them to escape, and what looked really promising, just like that, turned badly. But you know what? It's all on that first kill. It's all on that first hook from Roriko, able to say, you know what? This guy's maybe better than me, but at the very least, I was able to make them kneel in front of the turret.
Yeah. Shout out to Twitch chat here for remembering. This is flashbacks of last OQ when you called out that Shochi had been looking a little washed lately, and then he did get solo killed by Platinum Silas in the game that immediately followed.
Called out for that.
You did get called out for that. Hey, I defended you, man.
I would say I take that good in a good way, because technically speaking, after that he stopped being washed and started being good again. So I think I had an impact on him.
Some would say it's ABG Saturday. Some would say that it is just the
Oh
Korean
wait,
boot
Brave Enough
camp.
died.
But whatever the reason, yeah, Shochi has been on point since we covered him that OQ. Chrome hoping for similar career trajectory here off of appearing on the Aegis OQ stream.
He's also in the technically speaking better tournament called the ACL.
True.
And he's doing good there.
Speaking of which, ACL, we've locked in our match for Monday. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the stream, but we will be doing Prosperity versus Lotus.
Ooh.
The other Lotus, the one that has Reptile on it.
Wait.
What a stun under the turret from Ceratops. Nearly getting the kill there, and now here comes the whole squad looking for the punish. Goes in for the public execution, jumps over to the opposite side of Brave Enough, but will be chased down regardless. And that's a kill to Brave Enough. 2-1. Oh, 2-1 is Robbie, actually. 1-2 for Brave Enough. And another hook connects to the bottom lane. Clarit's gonna tank a fully isolated Acathian Rain.
It's hooks after hooks after hooks. It's not. Yes, the trade after is bad, but you know what? We're all on the percentage of hitting those hooks. I think so far, Roriko, for what we've seen, 3 out of 3, that's good enough. That's actually really good for them. As Rinsbeat needs to be a little bit careful here. Oh. Okay, one missed hook. That's fine. As teleport bot lane.
Oh. All right, Robbie. He just throws out the Shadow Assault there. And collapsing crew here. Hi, Ceratops. Emerging outside of the bottom lane. Double knockup. Rorik goes here as well. And this is going to be another pair of kills to 99 Gorillas. Roriko popping off on the Blitzcrank. 3-1 for Irwin. And 99 Gorillas, they got a lane to play through, baby.
Look at that. They are actually finding some value. Yes, you may argue that they are abandoning everything else, but you know what? 3 kills for the Kaisa, that's more than what they got in the first game.
Jesus, Chad, leave my man alone.
Chad has a... Chad...
He's going in. Chad is going to 1v3 this whole bottom lane. He's got ultimate too. The turret is not going to stop him. A 1 versus 3 triple kill for Chad on the Volibear.
You know that Chad actually has, what is it called? He has a 20 stack Magi's after that kill, those 3 kills.
Yeah. I love it. I love Chad leading into this.
Yeah, you know what? It's fine. I'm fine with that. Like, if you're going to go all in with this, go all in with the AP. 20 stack Magi's and then just go, what, full Rabadons after this.
He just might. That's going to be a bit of a damper.
Hey, first dragon of the series as well.
Oh my god, this guy cannot miss Chrome's dead again. 99 Gorillas support Roriko. Incoming free agency. Everyone take notes.
Chrome is getting exposed by Roriko.
By Roriko Blitzcrank, dog.
It's been 3 hooks to the face, 2 deaths, and then 1 setup. What else can you ask for your support? This game is not on Roriko.
No, I mean, 1000% it's not on Roriko. I mean, honestly, the rest of them are doing an okay job, too. They're making collapses happen across the map. Another one! Roriko finds Clarit's. These guys have never seen a Blitzcrank like this before in their lives. And Chrome and Clarit's, all right, they're going to get back here with the double kill, probably. Irwin going to flash and make it a 1-for-1.
Let's go.
playing to the limits. Rorico will fall down here, but it doesn't matter. It's an emotional victory.
And another hook to the face just cause.
Oh, over the wall. Porsche and Robbie will
Unlucky
find
for Termi there.
Termi is out of the game, brother.
Yeah, it's not been the best. Like, it started at level 1 and it's kept on going at level 2, at level 3, at level 4. It's never stopped, sadly, for them. As also, funnily enough, I think this is probably one of the first times that we've seen like more of an impact coming in from the bot lane, because in the previous game it was more so what Termi was able to accomplish. This time around it's what Rorico is able to set up for Irwin Smith, and I think they've been moving around as well. Like, I'm not even mad
Robbie.
about how... Yeah, of course.
Finishing off with the absolute 0 for the style points. I want one of these two players, probably Robbie, to get a big ol' Gosu Pepper Empire style absolute 0 from a bush this game. That's what I'm hoping for.
I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like, it would be fun.
I mean, if there was ever a time for it, it's here and now. Termi showing up mid. You're gonna regret this very fast, Termi. I don't think you can take that approach. Was that another hook? No, it was not. Rorico going to fall down there. Chad finishes off all the pages in the Magi's.
Yeah, he tried really hard there, but it's not the case there, sadly. And more pages. Actually, now Robbie Bob has his own book.
He does.
Less pages, but his own book.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. They're having a bit of a game. Top side, as per usual, might as well not even be here at 10 minutes into the game. Big little side quests here for Lotus. Can they get the Dancing Herald? Can Chrome redeem himself after an abysmal early game against Rorico?
Chrome get a pentakill before he just gets completely clowned by Rorico.
I mean, this is the angle. If they're going to keep this format next year, this is the angle we're going to take on these initial matches going forward, is which of these established tier 3 threat legends is going to have an embarrassing performance against a gold or platinum player.
Who gets clipped? I will call that. I will call it like that. Who gets clipped more?
Yeah. This time, last time it was Shochi. This time it is hands down Chrome. Sorry, brother, but all right, Porsche going to try to avoid getting clipped here as he gets a public execution onto Termi. Takes half his HP with the double Q, and that is about all. Termi at less than half of the CS that Chad has built up. Oh, and Chrome actually manages to dodge a hook. Well done, brother.
1 for the count. Before it was really bad, it was working out better for Rorico, but now at the very least.
Oh no, that's too big of a full send without the tools to be able to make good on it, and Chrome takes them apart for the triple kill.
They got a little bit desperate there with that play, but it's fine. Like, I think they get a pass for however they try and go for the desperation plays here. If it works, it looks great. If not, this can happen, but it was already kind of done with that in mind as Robbie Bob. He has Blitz ulti.
Wait, he does. That's gonna be
by himself.
Burst of damage. Oh my god. I do like the strat from 99 Gorillas. They can 100%, you know, they can look to shut down and tilt Chrome out of the game, hence the constant camping with Brave Enough going bot. And then they can hope that Porsche's client crashes again.
True. That's a good enough strategy. A 4v5, that's better than 5v5. A good enough amount of odds.
If you could take Chrome out too. I think Chad's about to kill this guy.
The problem is that Chad at this point is like 5v5. It's like 1v5.
Yeah, a little bit.
He gets clipped there, and now that they are pushing into turret, so look at the bright side. Now that every turret, every outer turret is down.
Oh, he flashes the hook. Oh, he's looking for him. Yeah. Chad is just taking him apart. Oh, he fails the jump, Chad!
I like the attempt. I like the attempt. Maybe they mental boom Chad after that, actually.
Clip it.
Ooh. Wait, Robbie Bob. Teleport you back.
Robbie trying to get out of here. High Ceratops on the approach on this very tanky Alistair. I mean, Chad and Robbie, I think if they just decide to turn around, they're going to kill all these guys. Another big hook connects on a Robbie, but he pops the Unbreakable Will, and he's going to be able to just walk this one out.
No.
Already killing one. Not going to settle there. He could get some more, but he doesn't want to give up his Magi stacks, or is he willing to risk them? Diving back in, shut down by Irwin. Chrome arrives, and Chad is the one you got to be worried about. Chad will not be prevented from getting this stun on through, and it's Chrome continuing to fire away, content that he is unthreatenable with the rest of his teammates around him.
It's happy that in that situation, the rest of the teams are not going to be the ones causing him the race there, and Chrome now able to recover himself very well. 7-3. He's fine now. He's feeling better. He's never going to go over the fact that he got hooked 3 times under turret, but you know what? He did recover in the game. I'm gonna bring that up whenever I can, by the way. Hey, and a dragon for Termi.
Let's go, Termi. Continuing to play the objective games. This is the guy who secured Grubs last game, too. And this game. Got Grubs this game,
yeah, you know what?
too.
Doing a better job at securing objectives than Chad so far.
The Grub monster. So what did we say? We were left with 65 gorillas after game number 1.
So now
we're at
it's
43 gorillas now.
So they need 43 kills more. 33 more
I don't
kills
think they're getting all 99.
They could technically try to.
If they tried to, yeah, but I think they're more interested in
so it's
Herald.
44 gorillas, right? The ones that are remaining.
There
so
are
it would need
43. There were 65 after game 1, so there's 43 left now.
So they would need to kill at least each member. So they could kill
times.
each member.
Between 8 and 9 times.
They could go for 10 kills on like 4, and then one on 10 and 1 4.
All right.
See, like that. Hey, Chrome died
again. Look at this guy. Get him off. Get him off the team.
He's the main liability. Everyone knows that, actually.
Yeah, Chad. Wait, Chad can get a penta here.
He doesn't have ulti though. I think he used it before.
Listen, you can see it in his movement. He is demanding that Robbie and Claritz tank this turret for him, and they just won't do it.
I agree that it's probably the right call to try and go for it, because that could be another objective. Who gets a pentakill in that first game?
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a time for Chad to get a pentakill, it's here and now.
On Volibear?
On Volibear, yeah. I mean, really on any champion. Another hook. And there's a nice block on the public execution, but it just just matter. Because Termi...
Oh, there's a teleport here. Ulti, Termi.
Who is this?
He doesn't have ulti.
This is Robbie Bob.
I was going to say just ulti Termi, but he doesn't have an ulti, sadly, there.
Okay. Wait, absolute 0 secured for Robbie Bob. We could see some shenanigans here. Can he get out of here to be able to potentially set up for a future play? Is he even interested?
Oh, wait, he's by himself here.
Play. There's 4 people here. He's stepping forward. He will be going down.
He got canceled.
Nowhere for Robbie to go. Termi gets his first of the game. Moves up to 1-8. And Chrome now looking to keep the violence going. Stepping forward, will easily be able to finish off Termi. Irwin gonna have to give this up. Triceratops on the wrong side of dodge. And with a little bit too much magic resistance and also no finished legendary items. The hook will force the flash out of Chrome, but now Chrome's got nothing to be afraid of as he continues to advance into the base. Brave enough here as well. I don't think with enough damage to his name. Rorico waiting on the cooldown, connects it again! Chrome cannot dodge these to save his life!
Father. He's just Chrome's father. Let's leave it at that. Already, all the time, every time he just gets a hook to the face. And Chrome already committed flash as well previously as Claritz. Will he die? Oh no, he's not.
Oh, big interrupt from Termi.
Perfect cancel.
To bail out the teammates. Rorico. Yeah, I mean, he's on the birth certificate. I don't know what to say anymore. He's...
There, they are forcing it now, trying to take down the turret. It's understandable how they are going to force here, but it's just a kind of normal way to really force it there.
Rorico looking for Robbie potentially here. Chad, of course, immovable in the side lanes. Chad is also holding the Rift Herald. I do think they are going to try to make it dance. I think that's why they haven't popped it
yet.
How
long do they have before they can throw it down, actually?
They have it's like forever. There's so much time compared to how it used to be. Oh, he is throwing it down right now, though, so...
They want to push here.
either I'm wrong that they want it to dance, or I'm wrong about how long it lasts, or this was an accident. One of those three.
So they want to, they want to go in.
Into the back line. That's as good a way as any to get the fight started. Brave enough, going to be finished off.
Oh, he's biting it.
Dead. They finished her off. Termi dedicating every resource he has available, but that ends Lotus's reason for keeping this game going. They will end it here. High Ceratops coming in on the flank. 1 versus 4, torn to pieces. And that is an ace to Lotus. They carry Chrome across the finish line. 11-6-5 against gold players. But Lotus will win 2-0 anyway. And that's it. That's the last we're going to get to see on this stream of that Blitzcrank play. But what a showing from Mr.
Full respect to Rorico. Yeah, he played it how he needed to.
He did. I mean, he did all that he could. You really can't blame him for this outcome. But for the rest of the squad, just too big of an ask to have to face off against Lotus here. Shout out to them potentially continuing to play together, though. Check out Aegis Gold League. You know, check out whatever other gold leagues are up and available.
Blue Water, maybe.
This was a bunch of fun, and that Blitzcrank play was sick.
Yeah, there's always options for them to play elsewhere, and they already have the clips to try and show that they just dominated Chrome via Blitzcrank pick. So why not try and do it more frequently as a team? So really fun. Like at the very least, they made it fun that way, in a way that we weren't expecting with how the game was kind of set up.
Yeah, I mean, this is one for the history books, all right. What a round 1 game here in the NACL Open qualifiers for 2026. With this result now established, Lotus will move on to face off against Reppy Barras in round 2.
Yep, going to be the next matchup. The one that we kind of all expected for it to happen, but certainly going to be a fun one anyway. And at the very least, more exciting than this one in a way that competitive-wise, probably more exciting in that sense. Game-wise, probably not as much, because this one was really fun.
Now, here's the question. Reppy Barras or Reppy Barras? I've heard people say both for the...
It's Reppy Barras.
Capybara. I think more people say Capybara. It might be Reppy Barra. Well, we'll do our best.
Yep.
Either way.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Looking forward to seeing who will or how they'll be able to compete up against this Lotus team. Expecting a lot closer of a matchup here for that second one. But it's going to take a little bit of time before we're going to be able to get everybody into the lobby. So we're going to throw it to a quick break here. We will see everybody on the other side as soon as we got everybody in for draft. We will be back and live. So stay tuned. We'll see everybody soon. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the NACL Open Qualifiers here on Aegis, where we have got round 2 coming up. Lotus taking on the Reppy Beras in what, seeding-wise, is set up to actually be a pretty close matchup. Reppy Beras coming in as the 15th seed overall, and Lotus coming in as the 18th seed overall. It is Geiger, Colthrow, Reppy, Nightstar, and Barlow. Plenty of names that will be familiar to everybody who's spends a lot of time here in Tier 3, Tier 2.
Yeah, they've been players that have been on the cusp pretty frequently. They have shown really good things in general. And I think particularly, almost always in a team like this, I'm focusing on Nightstar. I think Nightstar has been playing really good recently. I think he has been having really good showings in the Tier 3. And the Barlow Nightstar bot lane looking quite nice. And then Geiger and Reppy are 2 solo laners that I don't think are going to be causing you a huge amount of problems, because they are pretty solid in general what they are trying to do.
Absolutely. Let's see what the selections are going to be for this crew, who have been able to make some deeper runs in the past. Geiger and Colthrow in particular have been playing together for forever. I think there's been like 3 or 4 rosters in a row, right, that have had Geiger and Colthrow playing together. So the synergy between these two is through the roof.
Yeah, they know their ins and outs already in how they play. So certainly,
I mean, they played together on the Guild. They played together on Fantastic 5. They played together on Ember Foxes.
First iteration.
Yeah, and I think they played together on one of those Dorado gaming teams as well. Though some of those also had Castle on them. Oh, but they had Colthrow support, of course.
So not really in the jungle.
But still, the players playing together. Nightstar also was on the team for some of those Dorado gaming rosters. Reppy was on that Ember Foxes roster. So lots of cross experience together on this team. And of course, Barlow was on the Fantastic 5 roster, as well as the Guild. So been plenty of reps between all of these players, grinding it out together in some of the last few OQs, some of the last few ACLs. So much like our friends the 99 Gorillas, these guys have got lots of experience playing together, but these guys may also have some of the individual prowess to back it up.
They're a team that has been together for a while, but they are also a team that has played against some of these players for a while. So like the skill difference is not going to be that big, and it's going to make it at the very least a more interesting series. It also means that now we're back to a more standard approach to picks and bans, a more standard approach to how the game will be played. And I still think there might be a couple of interesting picks here and there, but it's not going to be the same level as the 99 Gorillas.
No, I do think I'm going to favor Lotus in this matchup as well, but this is a group of players who I think have produced upsets before, and if Chrome comes out looking like he did up against the previous Blitzcrank, then they may find some difficulties here playing up against Nightstar and Barlow.
Yeah, it's going to be at the very least more competitive in the way that they are going to try and play there. Now, how much is it going to affect the way that they played a couple of things in the previous game, or how much not? Because one of the things I wanted to mention before we in the previous game is the fact that, technically speaking, a lot of teams do prefer to play before they actually go into a tougher series, even if it's against lower tier competition, just to kind of to practice and get a little bit warmed up before going into the actual matches. And even though it looked a little bit weird for Chrome and some of the other players in some plays, I think that's sort of just initial game to get everything off, to just warm up and be ready for the actual matches is probably going to be important looking into now tougher competition.
Yeah, I agree with you there. We will find out if they're going to be able to put up a good fight against Lotus for their second matchup of the day. For Lotus, it's their second matchup of the day. For Reppy Beras, this is their first. See how they've been able to use some of that extra warm-up time, some of that extra scouting time that they got from watching the 99 Gorillas match.
Yep, going to be a different one here, but at the very least, it's going to be a fun one as well. And the fact that it's BO3 is still surprising a lot of people, because BO3 is here, non-BO3 is in the NACL, interesting mix-up, but going to make it more interesting for us if we get to go to the 3-game mark. More recently, we have been able to see more 3 games in the Aegis main broadcast, so maybe this is going to be another one that we'll be able to pull that off, as the band's already started.
Yeah, I think of all the matches being played today, this has one of the higher chances of going to 3, given that high-low seeding means a lot of these matches are ending up pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
The seeding is relatively close between these 2 crews. Lotus keeping up with the Yumi ban. They really don't want to have to deal with that one today at all. The Lucian ban from Reppy Berra is clearly given some respect over to Chrome after he had that solid Lucian performance in game number 1.
Yeah, and they changed it for the Yunara, so it looks like maybe it was just a same banned from the previous game. It's the Yunara, Lucian, and the Pantheon now banned away. Pantheon makes a lot of sense, still one of the higher priority champions in the jungle. I'm expecting to see a little bit of attention time also potentially on the Trundle as well, just with how much value he can get. Maybe Shinjao as well gets a little bit higher priority. He was a little bit nerfed in the previous patch, but in this patch but still good enough that you can go opt into it or force the champion. And then in mid lane, the typical bans are the Talias, the Seers of the world, and I think Talia against Repibaras could be a good choice of a ban, because in their mid lane they do like to play the Talia.
For sure. Yunara ban from Lotus, trying to make sure Chrome can't get back onto that one. Repibaras take away the Lucian plus the Pantheon. Oh, okay, so the Yunara are... Oh, wait, no, the Yunara ban is real. It was the... Didn't we see a different ban out of Lotus for a moment? Am I crazy?
Yeah, it was Yumi, and then they changed it. It's because it's you.
Oh, they typed... All right, yeah, we typed YU. We misentered on the draft law. You got it. With that said, Corki now going to be banned away. And going to continue to shrink that bot lane champion pool just a little bit further. The Pantheon still highly prized. And the Annie taken away from Robbie Bob.
I'm going to try and go for a little bit more attempt here at denying the point and clicks. To see Pantheon and Annie excelling at that really effectively, and also it makes laning phase really uncomfortable to go against the Annie, because she is really never like a liability in terms of how she wants to lane. And when she gets to the mid game, she may not be the highest damage dealing champion, but she still provides so much utility thanks to her shielding and her support and her ultimates. So it's still a pick to really try and look out for. As with the Annie taken away, no ban for this champion. I see her first picked here. Not surprising at all, really, when you think about it. And it's one of the top champions for a reason. Now, Barris has been going down in priority, but I still think he can be a good enough champion to try and go for it if you have a good team around him. In terms of mid lane, overall, there's a couple of good picks like the Talia that has been played consistently into this year as well. Galio as well, if you want to have a little bit more team-oriented focus, could be a choice. And then maybe we see one of the teams actually utilize the non-goal as an actual flex pick that they picked for initially, and then they try and flex it out to see where it accommodates better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised we haven't seen too many early selection Nautilus's Nautili to then be flexed around the map and potentially have that ability to go into the jungle now, whereas they previously were not really equipped to do so. That's going to be a Robbie Bobby Yone from the looks of it, snapped on up as their response to the Azir. Does also open up opportunities for something AP in the jungle. If Chad is vibing with it, maybe another Volibear game.
Could be another Volibear. Syra has been rising up in priority. Could also be trying to opt into that. But it's not necessarily a bad choice. Or a Rumble in the top lane, for example, which is left open, or a Gwen as well. Like Gwen, Rumble were open in the top lane. If you can try and pick them, usually we see the pick coming through, and it is likely Porch taking this Gwen into the top side of the map. For a response, though, I still think Rumble could be a choice that they opt for. You still have also things like the Aurora that can be played into with the range advantage and try and make the most out of it. Although recently, the most recent Aurora Gwen matchup I have in my mind, it was a solo kill by the Gwen. So I'm not as excited to see the matchup come through. And then for bot lane, there could be a chance to just try and secure some of the stronger bot lane champions right now, and then try and ban away in the second round of bans.
Yeah, just looking for what the Reppy Berras are going to be able to show us out of jungle mid. If they do want to try to snatch up a jungler earlier on here, they do also see that this Gwen is face up, so they can take any kind of response that they want into it. Not that there's too much stuff that feels like it really effectively counters out the Gwen.
Okay.
Maokai, nice and early. That's going to likely be for Kolthro in the jungle. And then now, what will they take here? They want to. I mean, now the Nautilus flex is a little bit dead unless you're also flexing the Maokai. They're just going to take a
Yeah.
top lane Jax for Geiger as the response du jour for the Gwen.
Yeah, consistent champion pick. The Jax is serviceable in what you need him to do, and then late game can be really strong with a lot of the split pushing power as well. So nothing out of the ordinary there. The point and click CC as well that the Maokai does provide you is going to be really ideal to try and get into certain place in the backline. The ultimate value is always great as well, and the sapling value as well, now that they are building him a little bit more AP focused, is also going to be pretty important. Now, as counters for the jungler, there's always the Trundles and the Sejuanis of the world. I think with double melee soul laners, you can opt into the Sejuani much more efficiently here, and it can be quite a good value of champion. Also, the ultimate could be really good, but instead opting into the NACL, so trying to get that control in the bot lane secured here already, also could be a flex potential pick, but I'm not sure if it's going to come through like that. And I think they want to try and get the bot lane going really early on with this NACL pick, probably going for an aggressive AD carry as well with it.
Yeah, very likely going to be the move as we get into the second phase of bans. Support bans likely to be prioritized for Lotus. They take away the karma here. An opportunity for jungle bans coming through from the Repi Bears here, especially if they do want to give some respect over to potential AP junglers. Although with Gwen and Nico both locked in, I don't know that AP jungler feels the best now. Might just make a little bit of magic resist just too effective on the likes of the Jax and the Maokai.
Yeah, probably not the most ideal, and also depending on if you go for an tank support, that also could impact the amount of magic damage or magic resistance that you're going to try and build. As for the remaining options in terms of bans, we're thinking about junglers. There's also options to go AD carry if you want to go for that. Ideally, I would think junglers are the main focus, like you were mentioning, and Sejuani was one that we were talking about, immediately banned away. There's a couple others that you can opt into, but the Sejuani looked to be like one of the most promising ones. And for the remaining support bans, I'm not expecting it to be another enchanter. I think another engaged support could be the choice here. Maybe Rakan ends up getting banned away, or the Leona, maybe even the Alistar. Actually, Alistar has been really high value recently, so it could be an Alistar or a Rakan ban in that sense. In terms of enchanters, probably the Lulu is the other one that I'm looking at, and instead it's the Varus, so trying to take away 80 carries.
Yeah, looking to limit what Night Star's opportunities are going to look like. Barlow with quite the champion pool as well. I'm sure he has plenty of options he can go for here. You're never going to take all of them off the board. And really, it's just about taking things that you don't want to have to play into the NACL away. Chains of Corruption to stuff a Pop Blossom. Always something that's very frustrating. Yep. They are just going to look to remove that from the pool and make life a little bit easier for Clarice. Set up for probably a pretty dangerous and aggressive bot lane, either something really pokey with the NACL or even something more aggressive with like a Callista duo. I know people don't like to talk about Callista after last MSI, but it is still a champion in the game.
Hey, she did get buffed.
Something that Crumb could lock in.
There's the buy as well. Point and click CC ultimate to try and get on top of the AD carry always works out. I was going to mention quickly, Callista did get buffed in the AP department, so maybe could be something that people actually opt into eventually. I don't think it's going to be the case right now. And with the buy already taking out here, the AD carry choices are going to be really specific because she can get on top of a lot of AD carries so easily, and it's so bothersome to try and deal with, especially with the setup that you already have with the NACL and the Yoni as well. Saya, I wouldn't be against it, but the Serious Spell Shield here probably going to be the biggest difference maker as well. And as a support, I wouldn't even be mad if they go the Maokai support angle and then just try and shake it up in the jungle if they want to. But if not, they can opt into something like Rakan once again, Alistar. Engage supports with the extra movement speed from the Sivir are really good. Or you can technically go for an enchanter support like Lulu Sivir is not necessarily a bad pairing. There's Rakan.
I don't mind the Rakan here. It'll group people up for the kind of CC chains that are available for the rest of the Repi Bears composition. We'll be able to be a little bit more mobile, can alternate between roaming and assisting bot lane, is flexible in your approach towards the game, depending on where the Maokai is pathing. I think that's good for them all in all. We'll be able to help defend the Sivir against potential Vi ganks while we're at it. Now, here's the question for Lotus. Do they go something more pokey into the Sivir Rakan, or do they look for a little bit more aggressive of an option? I do think that they could go the aggressive route if they wanted to really try to slam the bottom lane. They go for the Kaisa. kind of riding that line. We'll definitely be able to dive to the back line alongside this Yone and alongside the Gwen and the Vi. Kind of the whole comp ends up very dive focused at the end of the day here. Lotus very clear in what their mission statement is going to be. Rep Ibarra's going to be trying their best to try to disengage that, give the Jax room to play on the side lanes. I think the most important lane for them here is going to be Geiger, making sure that he is able to have a successful laning phase into the Gwen, because if he starts to fall behind, then they're weak at the side lanes. They're very possibly weak in the 5-on-5 up until they get to a super late game. That's going to be tough for them.
It's going to be difficult for them to really try and replicate it. They can get to that late game. And when you think about the Seer and Sivir as well, it's going to be really strong. Like, they are two of the strongest late game champions for a reason. And the wave clear as well is going to be difficult to try and deal with. So Lotus probably trying to get an early lead into turning that into a snowball potential, just so that they can destroy the game much quicker if possible.
Yeah, definitely high on our list of priorities. Be able to get themselves a foothold in the game, scale up, and be able to potentially contend with Lotus, who are a team pound for pound, expected to make a deep run in this open qualifier. And really, in what overall feels like it's a generally softer open qualifier than many have been in the past, Lotus very well could be a team that makes the promotion tournament here at this lineup.
Yeah, they really feel like one of the favorites, quote unquote. I would say probably in what they want to try and achieve with them and what they want to look with this roster. Like, even though it's not necessarily one of the strongest rosters we've seen in tier 3, I still think it's one of the rosters that certainly are trying to make the most with what they have. And I think having Chrome especially is a testament to them saying, okay, this time around we want to be able to reach that point, and not only that, but be able to qualify, because Lotus has already gotten to that point, but they have never been able to really qualify that in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there's some newer rosters coming together here. Thinking about some teams that we have seen, like that new Zenshi Gaming roster. You know, we don't really know what they might end up looking like, but they are certainly a crew to be on the lookout for, as we did just lose EDS. So it's going to be just you and me, everybody, for a couple of moments. I assume that was a power surge or a connection loss or something, but for right now, it's all right. Everybody keep calm. We're not even into the game yet. We got a little bit of spectate delay, but we're going to need our favorite co-caster back with us. Meantime, let's see if the Rep Ibarras can get a little bit of a challenge going here up against a Lotus squad that, as we were saying, does look like it can make a deeper run into this NACL qualifier. There's going to be a strong history of performances here. I mean, Porsche and Robbie Bob were a part of that Lotus team that made the promotion tournament last time around, with Sushi and Mixture, who now find themselves in the NACL. Going to be trying their best to make it through again. Dardock also on that team, also now in the NACL, on one of the more competitive teams in the form of Supernova. So that whole team, aside from Porsche and Robbie, did end up making it through. Porsche and Robbie, the last stragglers behind, are going to see if they can force their way in off a good open qualifier performance here at Vancouver Impact team that finished bottom of NACL. Looking beatable for anybody looking to promote up, and whoever is able to prove that they are the best of the bunch here in the open qualifier, many are going to favor them to be able to make it into the league for 2026. Still waiting on TDS here, but again, I'm here to hold it down for the rest of you guys while we wait. A little bit of an invade up towards the top side from the Rep Ibarras, just getting a little bit of that vision down. Porsche did spot them, so they will be aware that that vision has been secured, but still, let's going to keep an eye on Chad for the early game. It's already looking for Blooming Burst's poke, but again, spotted, known. The vision exchange is well documented for both sides. Shouldn't be any big surprises coming in the early game from either side. So everybody just heads on over to their lanes. Robbie Bob spending a little bit of extra time gathering vision, gathering information, pings out the cold throw starting on the birds. So Lotus will be relatively aware of the start here, and it's going to be mirrored by Chad, who is, of course, on that ward that was thrown down earlier on. Both sides content in the information that the birds are going to be the first camps going down. Chrome and Claritz, though, getting good damage out of the wave early on, already trying to find some of these aggressive trades. Gleaming Quill doing a good job of keeping Nightstar's health bar a little bit higher up, but Chrome does find a good amount of poke damage. I think that was an isolated Acathian Rain for the bonus. It's always what you're looking for in these early game short Kaisa trades. Nightstar and Barlow doing their best to push back out, but it is going to be a solid lead in XP for the likes of Lotus, and they're going to push that for as much of a fight advantage as they can get. Barlow doing his best to freeze this wave, but Claritz going to be able to push him back. Portion Geiger clearing things out, and it looks like TDS should be back with us very shortly. Here he is. You didn't miss too much, TDS. Just starting to farm up in the early game.
I swear, one of these days I'm going to try and change my PC for something actually usable. But for now, this is the best. And we didn't mix anything like you're mentioning. Only trading, which is nice.
Yeah. Jump back from Lotus. Is going to be Robbie finding those trades here for Reppy. Onto Reppy, rather. Claritz and Chrome with a faint CS lead from some of their early game trading. But other than that, nothing that is going to stick for too long.
Yeah, nothing much they're going to find. I will say the bot lane really looking low so far at this point. Good trading has been coming in from both Chrome and Claritz. And they could try and well, the problem is that they did it a little bit too early, potentially, or there was not a good angle for Chad to come through, because this wave was ideal to try and force a dive early on with the amount of damage that they already did to them and the training that they have been going for, because now the next one is going to be a little bit too thin, especially if the Sivir tries and ricochets it. Could be a little bit too thin to try and start setting up a dive there.
Well, Chad,
I think they spotted it.
Sniffing around to see if they can make this dive happen. Nightstar and Barlow going to do their best to survive. Nightstar already without the spell shield, getting a double knocked up here, and will potentially be taken down. Although first one secured, it's a 2 for 2. Chad takes a massively amped up turret shot, and it will in fact be Nightstar coming up with 2 kills as well as Chrome.
Yeah, funnily enough, both AD carries end up getting the 2 kills. That being said, though, the main thing here is obviously the turret, the minions getting killed by the turret. That does take away a little bit of the body from the Sivir and makes it so that even though you did get the kills, it's a trade. It's a good enough trade for Lotus. Also, Chrome did not use Flash, and Nightstar in comparison did have to use both summoners, so that can set up for future ganks as well. But for the way that it started, I think for the bot lane of Lotus, much more ideal. That's a huge trade by Porch.
Yeah, for the bot lane in isolation, I agree. The question is, what can Coltro get done on the opposite side? He did steal away the Krugs. I think that's probably going to be the limit of what he can accomplish. Chad, hot on his tail, coming back from having ganked the bottom lane there. And going to mean that Lotus kind of cements an advantage from the early play, assuming that the spillover effects of having lost those Krugs don't have some kind of massive impact later on. Chad, knowing that they're down, just going to move back to his bottom side camps.
Yeah, trying to go down there. The Dragon looking at it potentially being an objective, although Coldplay is a little bit far away. It may get started by the side of Reppy Bears, but I think they have enough in their tools to be able to answer back. Level 6s, though, are going to be important, and the only one that looks to be close to it is Reppy with the push that he has right now. So if they do, actually, Robbie has level 6. So it's going to be both mid laners with attempts at having the potential to try and level 6 into that Dragon.
Really good stuff there from Robbie. Going for the Soul Unbound, getting a nice trade onto Reppy. This is counter pick into the Azir, feeling like he's going to be able to scale up and be impactful on the Yone in this matchup. And so far doing a solid job in the melee and ranged matchup. No, those can always be difficult. Chad working his way up the river. Geiger and Porsche. Every time we look up here, Porsche is coming out ahead in the health trades, but Geiger is doing just fine in farm. Still, Gwen having a just fine time in this laning phase.
Porsche just used Ignite, just like that. He actually just popped Ignite thinking that he wasn't going to use it or miss it out, as Chad is setting up for a huge flank as well. They haven't spotted the Vi at all, and I think they want to try and re-dive bot lane now that there's no summoners in the Sivir.
Yeah, Claritz and Barlow exchange some blows inside the Tribrush. Chad has been hovering around this bottom side jungle for a while here. He wants to make some kind of play, whether it on bot or mid. Even on the
Dragon.
dragon. So just as they get the crash in, recognizing that a dive is not really going to present itself, they're just going to try to parlay Chrome and Claritz's lane control into the early objective. It doesn't look like they're going to have any problem securing this. Colthrow about to be spotted out by Porsche, and that will confirm that this is a free dragon for chat.
Yeah, pretty comfortable for them to take it, and in the time, because there's no grubs yet, or grubs yet to spawn, that means that there's not a lot of good opportunities to actually try and get the objective in their favor. So it gives chat the opportunity to come back and then try and respond to any play in the top side, as the bot lane is still being pushed by Chrome and Claritz. The control that they have thanks to NACL is so big, and if they can get more damage going there, that's going to be more ideal for the side of Chrome and for the side of Lotus as well. As I'm not sure if it's going to be a dive attempt, but there's 2 members in the top side, and Chad is also coming there. So 3, it's a potential 2v2.
Yeah, Chad moving on up here. Cooldowns available for both top laners. Chad not level 6 yet, while Colthrow is. That disadvantage could swing the 2-on-2 matchup. It did break out. Chrome taking a lot of damage here. Going to get exhausted as well. Already used the Ghost. Going to have to use Killer Instinct to create some additional space. Has to flash over the wall. Avoid Nightstar's damage. That's going to leave Claritz out here. Did not get an opportunity to flash the Grand Entrance, so we'll take even more damage. And Chrome and Claritz committing 3 summoners to 0 in that engagement and losing out massively.
And that comes from a mistake by Chrome, realistically, because that he got popped by the Rakan W, and that meant that as soon as the follow-up from Nightstar was available, they were going to be dealing so much damage. And it comes off really, really effectively there as Colthrow. It's all 2
grubbies, but the collapse from the Lotus solo laners will secure Feat of Warfare over to Lotus. Chad locking him down and picks him up.
That was flash and ulti by Robbie Bob just to kill Colthrow there, and he doesn't even get the kill.
Yeah. Shame for Robbie to not be able to pick up that bonus gold. It is 1 grub to 2 to the Repi Beras, so Repi Beras is going to be the ones who get credit for the objective at the end of the day. Well played by them, to be honest, to be able to secure 2 grubs with the Maokai during all that's going on, and having gotten that advantage back in the bottom lane, they're looking not too shabby in this early game.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it's a good enough trade that they are able to get there, and finding good gold in their pockets as well that can be really valuable. Surprised that though that Lotus is opting. Oh wait, Geiger.
Nowhere to go. He is going down here. Nice
Good
pop
kill.
blossom from Claritz. Wasn't Chad, it was him, Claritz, all along. They do get a 3rd kill into Chrome for that.
Yeah, and what I was mentioning was surprised that they went for such a late swap, even after they already took down the Grob. So instead, it's just going to be Porsche collapsing onto the turret here and gaining the turret plates that are left behind down here. And also, they pulled the wave, the huge wave that was about to crash, and that means that now it's going to be in a not good enough spot to be able to force a dive. Like, this is much, much better for Lotus. They are holding it out really, really well, and they can try and go for it, but I feel like it's too risky.
Yeah, Colthrow going to do his best to make it worth it. Actually, they do connect the Gator's Grasp onto 2. Block attempt unsuccessful for Claritz. Chrome still gets snagged, and it is an easy cleanup from there. Colthrow trades his life for 2.
Yeah, Chrome wasn't able to use ultimate, which I think was the biggest difference maker there. But still, 2 for 1 in that scenario. Nightstar getting another kill, and also being able to get the plates here is really ideal, as Chat takes damage, but that's not going to be the main thing. But they are trying to trade places as much as possible, maybe not wanting to play too much between the Sivir and the Kai'Sa, although they did pick into that matchup, but trying to make it so that it's a little bit separated from each side, not really just staying on one place.
Really, really well done there from Repi Beras. And yeah, Claritz, I think, just making the smallest of errors there. I don't know if Chrome thought a clone was coming out or if they just got the angling wrong, but both of them getting hit by that Nature's Grasp certainly turns the tide of that dive that we were not too keen on initially. And now Repi Beras find themselves again not ahead, but having plays go more in their favor than one would initially expect. And if they're able to keep that up, could be able to contest a little bit further. Still, big CS lead for Chrome, big gold pooled up for Chrome, getting 3 kills back for Nightstar, going to keep them as close to even as possible, but it is still an advantage to the side of the Kai'Sa.
Any advantage you can get is almost always going to be ideal, as the trading patterns by Robbie Bob are becoming scarier and scarier by the minute. It feels like he's going to be able to threaten the kill really quickly and make it really bad for them, as that's a big trade as well onto Nightstar from Claritz. you can try and set up something, but now we're reaching one of those points where the Sivir is just going to be able to clean up everything and not have to face anyone realistically. That's kind of the difficult, scary part that you're going to be facing in terms of going against the Sivir. And so far the game, because there's no real objective apart from this dragon that they can try and collect, means that it's going to feel a little bit more quiet.
Certainly does. We will see if they will be able to secure themselves a second dragon. Looking like that's going to be no problem for Chad. Again, just flexing the priority that they have in mid and bot to be able to get these objectives nice and easy. The waves are pushing in too fast. They just can't get safe routes to go and challenge, and even if they did, they would be forfeiting a whole bunch of extra gold, giving more and more of a lead over to Lotus. So 2 dragons to 0. Lotus 1 more away from being able to get themselves the Feats of Warfare or the first turret, either one. And they are going to get some more plates here, both on Robbie and on Chrome and Clary,
Wade.
forcing that recall. Goldthrow coming in from behind, looking to see if he can secure on Robbie. Bob does go in there with the last breath, but I don't think there's anywhere for him to go. Great dodge on Emperor's Divide. Robbie times it perfectly, but still don't know if it will be enough. He's throwing down the birds,
The shield
in the way, and Robbie Bob is out of there. Fate sealed. Connects and gives him just enough space, plus the slashing strike, I think it's called, to get out of there.
It's called slashing strike.
Slashing slash, striking strike. Chad finding Barlow in the jungle. Reppy here to back him up. They're just going to full send it. Chrome is in there with the killer instinct. Quickness can't quite reach him. Pop Blossom finds Reppy into the snare, and Reppy is done for. Chrome picks up his 5th of the game. Coulthrow throwing himself back in. Sees the need to keep the fight going. Nightstar with Chrome right in his face. Chrome flashing on top of him to keep that fight alive. Dodging out on the tangle barbs. Does look like the remaining members of the bot lane will be able to escape. That is a fight win for Lotus. 2 for 1.
Close enough there. Not only Chad surviving, but it looked like they could have gotten a Nightstar there, able to flash away and skip
Actually,
it effectively.
2 for 0. Nobody died.
And nobody died, actually, from the side of Lotus. So overall, great trade, great fight. They get so much value. And Robbie Bob went back into the top lane just like nothing happened, and is pushing now, trying to get a little bit more gold into his favor. All in all, really good early game by the side of Lotus. Really nice control they are able to get. The only thing that I'm surprised though is that Porch now, after a couple of minutes, has been down on CS for quite a bit.
Yeah, it's been a good laning phase from Geiger, all in all. Like, we've seen a lot of good trades from Porsche, but nothing that's actually set Geiger meaningfully behind in any way.
Yeah.
So he's got this Trinity Force completed, and more and more like he's going to need to be a major point that gets played through for Reppy Bearers coming in later on. He's still not at the state where he's winning these trades with Porsche, which means he can't actually be a source of pressure.
Oh, Claritz is going to get picked off. Yeah, by himself at the support. Give it to Nightstar, the best choice.
Yeah, Reppy's fine as well. They wanted it on one or the other, and they will take it on to the Azir. Claritz up just a little too far without any proper vision or backup, and so will be shuffled back and finished off. Reppy Bearers get themselves a little bit of a freebie there, and they're going to try to parlay it into the Rift Herald, which I do think they're going to be able to get here. It doesn't look like it's a plan of Lotus's to contest for this. TP coming in. This is Barlow to cover bot lane and should stop them from retrieving this turret. Or does it? I mean, Porsche still wants it. Chad does as well. If they can secure it, it would be neat. Porsche taking so much damage, though, from the full combo. Cease and desist, but additional help from the turret means that Chad almost falls down as well. They are able to finish off the turret, though, and that leaves Barlow as a sitting duck for Chrome.
It's a 2-for-1 at the end of the day. I'm not sure if it's that valuable to give up Porsche like that, but getting 2 more kills for Chrome is always a good thing. You get more value, you get way more in the sense of what the Kai'Sa is going to be able to accomplish, and as long as Coulthrow.
Yep. They find if he tries to flash away, cannot clear the Pop Blossom, and Claritz gets some revenge for earlier. 6-10 on the scoreboard. Lotus building up a bigger and bigger lead now as Claritz and Nightstar exchanging some blows.
Claritz wants the pink, and it's going to get it. Maybe Nightstar actually stays for too long here, but there's no ultimate on Chrome, so probably not going to turn into anything bigger than that.
Killer Instinct not available. It's the only reason Chrome doesn't get in there and pick up a solo kill up against Nightstar. Porsche getting blown up so early in that fight, though, does end up giving a little bit more gold over to Geiger. Fight win with that turret falling means that Chad is able to carry on through. Chrome, with so much money on him, needs to be the target that gets answered in these upcoming fights for Reppy Bears if they want to prevent themselves from just getting snowballed on.
It feels like they are getting a little bit snowballed, though. The good thing for them is that I don't think there's a big enough snowball, though, because 3k gold only at 17 when they have a Sivir and a Nasir, it's something that it's not as scary. I think this becomes scarier if it's 5k or if it becomes 60. That's the point where you actually begin to worry. At this point, that's still manageable, and the Sivir is also doing a good job. Like 7,000 gold, yes, the guy is really far ahead, but then you see it's 6,900 for the Sivir, 6,000 for the Asir, and also 6,400 for the Jax. Like the three members are doing really good that need to be doing good. Oh, Barlow.
With the wall comes Chad, connecting a punch onto Barlow. Nightstar going to be able to block with the spell shield. Now it's Geiger coming in here with the counter strike, going to be able to threaten Lotus enough to force them to back on away. Cold throw coming in from the bottom. Did throw out Nature's Grasp already, got a little bit of damage through, but not enough to set up a fight. Still, with the inside track and control over the river, Reppy Bears want to start off this Mountain Dragon, and I'm not sure that Lotus have the technology to be able to get in here and actually challenge for it. Robbie coming in with a slashing strike, gets some knockups and a little bit of additional damage. Reppy ruffling Robbie back, but Pop Blossom connects on the 3 for Clarice. He loses most of his health for it, but here's Chrome spotting out 3 low targets and taking them down in 3 shots. 3 into the pockets of the longtime NACL 80 carry, and that's a win for Lotus.
Yeah, but it's all on the back of Claritz. That was such a beautiful ultimate by Claritz there. Gets the 3-man knock up on the side when they were trying to disengage back into the lane. And it's weird because Reppy Bears had the angle or had the first move into the river, so they had control of the area to try and get the dragon. They decided they want to rather push the wave instead and then answer it back into Lotus, but because everyone is getting caught collapsing onto the side of the wall, it's a perfect angle for Claritz to find the 3-man knockup into Chrome just ulting in and following up. Great play by Lotus, huge play by Claritz, and setting up the success for the team because now Chrome 10-2-1, 2.5 items completed.
So much money into the pockets of this Kaisa from that last fight. Nearly a 3rd item complete before Nightstar can get onto a 2nd. Catapulted ahead of the pace of the game with consistent focus towards the bottom lane. A lot of CS caught up now by Nightstar, but Chrome is farming champions, so he will maintain his lead. Going to keep this push going into mid lane as they look to take down another outer turret. Claim a little bit of additional standing gold and be set up for the Otacon spawn in 25 seconds.
Yeah, it's enough for them to be able to try and go for the Otacon spawn. Something we haven't mentioned much in today's games because we actually didn't see it at all.
True. Yeah, I mean, the game's been closing out at like 20 minutes. I don't think we've gotten.
I actually forgot the objective existed.
I don't think we've gotten into a Baron spawn either game today.
No, either.
Yeah, it's something that we will get to see this game that we hadn't gotten to see previously, although Lotus might have something to say about that. They can have a dominant enough fight performance, but they have not been able to get the early turrets the way that they were up against 99 Gorillas, so seems pretty unlikely. Big chunk on a Robbie up there. And focus around the Otacon from both teams. This is the only objective up for quite a while. Chad going to spot Geiger in rotation. Can they take a fight here? Geiger's going to take a fair bit of burst damage from Chad straight up, and there is going to be the collapse with the ultimate. Chrome is legendary. And Geiger, thinking he was safe, was not.
Everyone thinks they are safe until Chrome arrives. Ulti pop, they want to maybe try and enter back. It's a 4v3.
Yeah, in here goes Cold Throw, 3-man pop, lots of again. But Chrome, careful about stepping up too far, means that Lotus are kind of left out to dry. They don't have backup from Porsche, they don't have Robbie. Chrome doesn't want to risk that fat shutdown, so it's just a 2 for 0. And now they're making a march towards the Otacon because one of those 2 is Chad.
Yeah, they have the tools there to try and go for it. They did commit 3 ultimates to try and get those kills. So there's a slight angle here for Lotus to actually fight it out. The problem is that Porsche has no teleport, Chrome is a little bit too much on the side, and it's only Robbie Bob here really to try and stop it. He needs to be careful though. He does a lot of damage, but he can get point and click CC to that. Chrome is coming.
Still with Killer Instinct up. You got to watch out about getting your health bars chunked too low. Sapling will do a little bit of damage there. Grobby Bob is in. He gets charmed up by the quickness, and Otacon will fall. Geiger TP's in for additional backup, and Reppy Bears secure themselves a fat sack of XP. keep them competitive going into the later game. Nice secure for them off that quick 2 for 0. Robbie Bob fishing around on the side, maybe fishing around for too much, scoops him in with fate sealed, but he will be shut down by Geiger.
And that's a big mistake there. Not only dying in that position, but it does mean that now trying to take down the turret going to be a little bit difficult. The Asir is coming, but Reppy has to be careful here because he may get locked down and killed. But giving up so much gold just like that on the side of Lotus, really bad idea. Like, initially in the mid lane play, I'm not against it completely because a 3v3 with Chrome being this strong, as long as he's left untouched, it's fine. But when it became a 4v3, that's where the play was a little bit more difficult to go for. And Chrome going away, it makes sense how it developed into that. But then Robbie Bob waiting on the Tribush, trying to get a kill on someone that was just waiting on the side, maybe it's way too much. The Sire agreed to try and get something that wasn't going to turn into anything, and it means that now they gave up way too much gold. They are closer now in gold than they needed it to be, and in the next fight they need to get this dragon, because if the side of Reppyverse gets another 5 minutes or 4 minutes, sorry, it's one more item for the Saber, one more item for the Asir, and that's when the game becomes way scarier.
Yeah, completely agree. Lotus definitely need to finish what they started and secure themselves the Mountain Soul here. Things are going to get dicey. Porsche TPing in advance into the middle of the wave, going to take a little bit of damage from Nightstar. On the Hunt was actually popped, and they did not find an engage onto the Gwen.
I thought maybe it was just to arrive back into the lane, but yeah, they used On the Hunt just to try and make a potential play over Barlow.
Getting a little bit chunked there. Geiger is in. We'll be able to get a little bit of a chunk on towards Chad. Has to jump back out. Geiger has to flat here on the flank. Full throw. He will get taken down. Pop Blossom on the 4. Fate sealed on the just as many. And Chrome untouched in the back line to keep firing on through. Clarice goes down in trade for Colthrow and Barlow. Geiger's too low. Nightstar has to head for the hills. And this will be Dragon Soul to Lotus.
Clarice may have died, but he died a hero in that play. 4 men once again into teamfight victory. Chrome wasn't even able to use ultimate in that fight actually, but in reality they get everything that they wanted to in that fight, and importantly they get the soul. Once again, they needed to find this soul, not only because they don't want to give more time to the side of Reppyverse, but because Elder Dragon will come at a point of the game where there's going to be 3 items for these 2 members anyway. Both Sivir and Asir, Reppy and Nightstar will have 6 items, or sorry, 3 items. And those 3 items are going to hurt. But with the soul, at the very least, you can make it so that that difference in late game power is going to be a little bit more manageable compared to if it was only Chrome with 3.5 items being able to destroy everyone and the rest of the team a little bit less powerful.
Stuff here. Clarice waiting over the wall will connect Tangle Barbs, gets a little bit of chunk damage onto Barlow. And a close game at number 1 here when all is said and done, TDS. Yes, the Mountain Soul's been secured, but Otacon buff is in the hands of the Reppy Barras.
Yep.
And they are only down 3k. Nightstar is strong enough. Reppy is getting stronger. The scaling is still very strong for the Reppy Barras if they can get fights started on their own terms and or find some of these picks. And with that, they're going to look at the Baron. They're not out of this yet.
They can try and start it, but I feel like they are putting themselves in a really weird spot if they try and force themselves to start it so early on. Like they can try and play around it a little bit more before they actually want to start it. Robbie though is not here. Oh,
an attempted engage on a Nightstar does get blocked by the spell shield, but nobody in position to punish Chad for his efforts.
On the Hunt used.
Either leading a charge into the mid lane as they look to get onto the inner turret, and Reppy Barras, they need to try to force their way on through. On the Hunt is Pop, try to find an engage in the back line. Barlow double knockup. Pop blocks line 3. Fate sealed out of the side, connects out of 2, but Robbie Bob still taking a ton of damage for his efforts. Chad is in the front line, but there is no follow-up other than Chrome firing away at any target he can find. He gets on a Nightstar, but is stunned up afterwards. It doesn't matter. Chrome, enough damage in the tank to keep on chugging. 2 for 0 to Lotus.
An angle Chrome finds there just enough to get the kill into both Nightstar and also Geiger there. Really good, and it's now Baron Bob more than likely going to the hands of Lotus. They know that also Coulter is way too far away, so it's going to be a pretty free objective. Clarice also responds just in time to get, so it's a 5-member Baron Bob now able to push into the base of the side of Reppy Bear. And this is important as well because the wave clear from the side of Reppy Bear was quite strong with the Sivir and this year. Now with Baron Bob, it's going to take them a little bit longer to be able to clear those waves.
Yeah. Another addition to the Lotus arsenal, making it less and less likely that Repi Bears will find that miracle fight to pull them back into it. Repi close to the Rabadons, and Nightstar with a third item completed as well. They are getting to the point where they could be miracle workers in the fights, but it's been Chrome time and time again finding an isolated Nightstar, taking him out even when the fight was looking dire, and securing a win for Lotus once again.
It really feels like Chrome is him, and has been doing it so far this game really well. He even gets a Bloodthirster now, so his survivability is going to be off the roofs at this point, and able to try and provide more utility damage for, or not utility factors for the team to make it so that he's always going to be in an important point. As they are trying to control this area, they are more than likely going to get the turret, and it's only really on the counter push, Geiger pushing topside, trying to maybe get one of the bounties in their favor, and believe that the wave through is going to be enough to stop this, which looks to be the case with the ultimate.
And here comes Nature's Grasp. It will be blocked by a Nico clone. That's what you want to do up against those Maokai ultimates. Didn't quite work out in the earlier dives, but they make it happen that time. Claritz will be able to create a little bit of space for the rest of the team to be able to survive that potential engage. And that's On the Hunt plus Nature's Grasp down. That's Repi Bear's good way to start off fights. Now they're going to have to wait for Lotus to choose a moment to engage.
They also did use support from Geiger, so now the split pushing power also kind of going down, and they are all depending on one good fight that they can find here to maybe put a stop to the game, and it has to be off of the engage of Barlow, essentially.
Looking to find themselves another angle on in is Chad. Potentially lock down Nightstar or Repi. Repi throws down the Azir turret, buys a little bit of additional time with the Sun Disc. Waiting for these ultimates to be back up. At least Colthrow should be able to get his after one more wave. And they survive long enough to potentially find a better fight angle on the second cast of Nature's Grasp. That is the question. I don't even know if they can sustain against one more wave, as the Baron buff gives them enough power to bust through the Sun Disc.
Oh, Barlow.
From Barlow getting into the backline, gets the knockup on it too. Claritz is blown up, and an attempt from Chad to escape will be shut down. The knockups, though, from Robbie-Bob are huge to buy the space for the team to keep on fighting. Chrome, untouched yet again, continues to take down the tree, and it is only Repi left standing. Lotus take a 4 for 2, and will take the base alongside it.
2 waves of minions to try and push here. It's only Repi, but it looks like they are going to disengage. They are going to respectfully play it. It is Elder Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, so they probably want to try and play around it as best as possible, which I think it's the right and smart way of doing it. And if they can get that Elder Dragon, the game is doomed, because there's no stopping Chrome now with 6 items in Elder Dragon.
Certainly a chance to be able to come up with a win here in game number 1 for Lotus, getting closer and closer. 9,000 gold in the lead for them. The Elder Dragon does spawn here. Does the Elder Dragon picture look like kind of crushed to you, TDM?
Oh, yeah. It looks pixelated in a way that I'm not able to describe.
I think it's like stretched. It's like vertically stretched. That's interesting, because that's from the League client.
Is that the new spectator bug now?
Those aren't our assets. That's the League client right there. Elder
There's always an spectator bug. We just need to wait and see which one comes out.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to call that one out. As continuing in are the likes of Lotus, looking to break on down a second Sun Disc and see if they could get themselves onto the Nexus turrets. 10k gold lead makes this nice and easy. One last stand for Repi Bears. Try to find themselves a...
All the engagers, no shield.
Claritz yet again on the Pop Blossom. Undefeated today. Connecting perfect ultimate after perfect ultimate. And Repi Bears just have no answer. Nightstar and Barlow are both down. Robbie going to recall and TP back, and I think this is going to be the push that ends it.
It looks like to be the case, as Chrome does take a huge chunk of damage there, but there's a huge wave of super minions coming down there on the bot side. Repi is dealing a lot of damage, and it's 25 seconds for Nightstar to come back, but it's not looking like it's going to last long enough.
Geiger nearly going to drop here to a little bit of additional damage off the Elder.
Reppy.
That will be the closeout here. A resurrection coming on through thanks to our good friend Guardian Angel. Will maintain Chrome's 18-2-4 scoreline as Lotus closes out their third in a row today, and they are one game away from sweeping the day in the first round of bracket.
Yeah, really good manner they played today so far. Obviously, the first game, not a lot to take away, but I think this one particularly, a really good turnaround. Chrome having such a good performance on the Kai'Sa. I think maybe a little bit too overzealous to start it off in the first few minutes because he did get killed, or yeah, he did get killed in that 2v2. Actually not, he just blew summoners, but he was about to get killed in that 2v2 and down there in the bot side. But then after that, it's just a continuation of really good performances by him. And then I think Chad's run over Cold through this game. Like, I think Culture was barely able to do anything in the jungle, whereas Chad was just able to run around, get whatever he wanted, gank effectively, find really good picks. He was doing such a good job in the jungle as a jungler today, Chad, and making it so that Lotus could control the game pretty effectively.
Massive showing from Chrome. Has to clap back after a rough game against Blitzcrank in his previous showing up against 99 Gorillas. And he shows up this time. A massive Kai'Sa game to Chrome, having been saved that last pick and making good value out of it. Going to need to be an answer from Reppy Barrows in game number 2. Obviously not to the Chrome Kai'Sa. That'll be Fearless away, but an answer to Chrome more generally because he had a hell of a performance.
Yeah, I think the only choice that Barlow has now is to go for Blitzcrank and try and bring PTSD onto Chrome.
It's a strategy. I mean, he
make use of the Blitzcrank, cook PTSD into Chrome and see if that works out. But
if they were watching the stream, that could be the move. See if Barlow's got it in the tank, be able to come up here and contest. But yeah, I mean, that aside, plenty of champions left available, but not these 10 as we gear up for a Fearless draft number 2. Who is going to be able to continue on and who is going to drop down at the lower bracket? Reppy Barras would force us to game number 3, but Lotus looking to complete the sweep of the day and send us all home early.
Yep, ideally that would be what I think what they want to do. Probably not us. We do want a game 3 of this level of teams. More than likely, we would like to try and see them pull it off in this way. But in general, though, I think with the way that Lotus has been playing, it feels like they are bound to get the 2-0. Like, that first game was really controlled, really dominating, and great angles by Clarits as well on the Nico. Not going to have it again, but great angles he was able to find.
Absolutely here. Well, we'll see what Reppy Barrows can respond with in game number 2. But for now, we are going to throw it to a break while we wait for that draft to get started. Stay tuned. We'll be back before too long with more of the NACL Open qualifiers. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the NACL Open Qualifiers, where Lotus and Repi Beras are gearing up for game number 2. Lotus taking game number 1 off of a massive Kaisa game from Chrome. Let's see what Repi Beras can show us to try to clap back in the second game.
I think I was muted.
Friend.
Yeah. They'll have to find some answers. They'll have to find some ways to try and stop Chrome. I think initially the idea of having to play the Sivir was not necessarily bad, but I really feel like at the end of the day, the main difference does come down to that jungle matchup, because I feel like the times when Chrome got ahead was when Chad put attention down there in the bot side, or with him around Clarate, sorry. And I think if they are going to try and stop that, they need to have Cold Throw be more active towards the bot side, put a little bit more pressure for Nightstar, allow him to try and be the carry that we know he can be, and try and put more pressure onto Chrome as well in the process.
Yep. Looking around the rest of the bracket for any upsets that we might see, does look like Drop Dead Gaming and Team Rocket are going to game number 3. That's a fun one as we pull on up the draft for our own game number 2. Repi Beras on the blue side, Lotus moving over to the red.
And staying on red side, I think for Lotus, having the red side is so good as well, because they get the counter value potential for Porsche, for Robbie Bob, for even Chrome as well. Like, having those players be able to have a counter is so effective as well. And even Chad, actually, Chad has a huge pool in terms of junglers, and I think that having the potential for him to also get a good counter matchup could be really, really ideal. As the first few bans does go through, and it's Lucian Yunara repeating from the first game. Now we need to see what other champions are going to get a little bit more attention. If maybe the Barris is going to jump in priority in terms of bans, instead of going in the second round, and he goes on the first round of bans. The Pantheon as well staying there. So a lot of repeats so far.
We'll have to see who is going to be able to make it on to the next round off of a potential win in this series. Is it going to be Lotus right here, or Repi Beras after forcing us to a game at number 3? Yunara banned on away. Lotus still tried to keep that one outside of their hands of Chrome after the game number 2 against 99 Gorillas. Repi Beras continue with the Lucian and the Pantheon, looking to potentially keep that one up as well here.
Yep, I'm going to stay with something similar in mind here. They're taking their time in terms of what they want to try and ban away, but the Corki does come through, so this time around a little bit more focused towards the bot side. So far we have 380 carries banned away, or actually 580 carries banned away, because the 80 carries from the previous games as well. And there's still time to ban away another one, as the Ambessa taking away from Porsche. Potentially another champion to really look into as the Udyr gets banned away, Respect ban. And Rumble, we have barely seen a new Rumble today. Not a lot of focus towards the champion, and a lot of people were saying how the champion now feels much better to pick in both sides, so it could be an option for either team if they want to go for it.
Could be. Lots of potential options left on the table. The early Wukong pick for Kolthro, prioritizing some of those junglers that still have not been hit with the nerf stick quite as hard. Noting that the Trundle and the Xin Zhao are both nerfed compared to their incredibly powerful, Mount Rushmore jungle versions, where it was kind of just 4 champions we had for the whole NACL regular season. I mean, the Wukong, the Trundle, the Pantheon, and the Xin Zhao. Going to still be Xin Zhao up and available, Trundle as well, if they do want to go for one or the other, though I do think the Wukong a solid selection to start things off for the Repi Beras. Lotus could still get themselves some of these priority picks left up and available in the bot lane or in the mid lane.
Yep, there's plenty of options really to try and go for in terms of what you would like to try and get. In terms of the bot lane particularly, I think the Orianna first and foremost, I like that they take it away from the Wukong pairing, because Wukong Orianna can be really bothersome to deal with. And going for the Xin Zhao, one thing that I've noticed is that Nocturne has kind of gone down in priority quite a bit. Like, not even with the Orianna pick anymore, he's getting the time that he kind of was getting before, and now it's more so just staying with the previous junglers that you already knew were getting picked anyway. The Xin Zhao now, to follow up with that, not necessarily a bad pick. I think Chad can run it around really well with the Xin Zhao. And then for the remaining picks, for mid lane, Talia is still available, could be an option. Victor as well, if you want to have the wave clear plus the late game scaling. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, or actually a bit more follow up with your tankiness, you can technically go Galio here and try and play it with the Wukong engage potential. So there's multiple champions here I can see a Reppy Barris try and go for and try and make the most out of them. And then if they want to try and secure an AD carry, there's a few options like the Barris still available that were banned away in the second round that could be the pick for to go here.
Ooh.
Okay, that's aggressive.
Reppy Akali, I love to see it. A strong matchup into the Orianna as well. The Yorick going to be locked on in for the top lane. We'll be facing off against Porsche, whatever he decides to go for. Saw the Cho'Gath on ACL from Alorum earlier this week as the counter pick against the Yorick. Had a lot of success on that one, being able to proc the Carnivore passive on the Ghoulies. Will they decide to go for that for Porsche? Does he have some other counter picks in mind? Have to wait and see here, but love the Akali into Robbie Bob's Orianna. Big opportunity for Reppy to show off on one of his signature picks.
Yeah, has the tools here to make the most out of their picks that they certainly do like to play with, and it's going to be exciting seeing how the assassination potential is going to come through. That being said, obviously there's ways to try and close out on the Akali. You have the ultimate that does cover the Shroud as well, so there's good ways for the Orianna to also try and make the life of the Akali really difficult to play with. As the Renexion does come through, a favorite of Porsche, a pretty comfortable pick for Porsche, and he does kill the ghouls relatively quickly. Not necessarily the quickest, but it's not that difficult for him to try and deal with it. But you don't want to fall behind because it can be difficult later on to really try and play the game if you fall behind. So all in all, it's going to be an interesting matchup in the top lane, and then it's now only the AD carries and the supports left to be picked. Bard getting bound away. I'm expecting to see focus once again into the Alistars, the Nautilus, the champions that are going to be more difficult to deal with. And then as far as AD carries, maybe once again Barris, maybe the Ezreal as well could be another choice to try and ban away. Jhin and Miss Fortune still available, so there's tools to try and look into.
We'll see if we will end up with some of those less seen supports. Bard banned on away, the Braum are going to join them. Bot lanes left up for both teams. Lotus going to have to blind one half of theirs. This is where that flexible Nautilus could have been useful, TDS, but still nobody quite willing to pull that trigger, at least not in Fearless game at number 2. Not quite yet. And it will continue to be support bans, I think, for the foreseeable future. Lotus, first crack here. The Varus still available. Lethality Varus is a little bit nerfed. There goes the Nautilus ban. Trying to think of where the priorities are going to sit here if you are Lotus, if you are looking to get yourself something for Chrome to carry on. Senna still up as well if you want to try to take a little bit of alternative route, really rely on your double bruiser setup. I could see them going for something like that. There's the Varus ban. So the Varus will not be the selection.
So I think one of the champions that has been rising up in popularity that can be played, and it's I think Chrome has played it before, is the Aphelios, which hyper carry. I wasn't expecting that actually. Hyper carry, really effective, actually quite nice to pair up with a lot of the enchanter supports, and even then you can also pair it up with some of the engage supports. So overall, not necessarily a bad choice. The other one I was thinking of was the Jinx, which could be the other hyper carry to really look into. But I think Reppy Barris probably would like a little bit more utility on their AD carry here than just a straight up carry. So Jhin could be an option. Kalista, even though she's not the highest priority, could also be an option. Ashe as well, though Ashe has fallen down way too much in priority. Those are kind of the tools that I'm really looking into for some of these members. Maybe Miss Fortune as well if you want to have the ultimate body with the Wukong.
Have to see. I could definitely see a Miss Fortune coming on through here. The Ziggs could be the selection, making good on the AoE they already have for themselves, and the Leona going to add into that department as well. Going to be a tough laning phase for the Aphelios now already, given that this Leona is coming on through. So what can you pick to try to defend him or to try to roam on around? The Nautilus and the Bard both already banned away. It'll be the Lulu, so they're going to go all in on buffing up Chrome's Aphelios. Also pretty good with the Xin Zhao Renekton.
Yeah, overall, like if you're going to buff anyone, I think Chrome's Aphelios is a really safe bet to go for it. I was thinking maybe they'd opt into a little bit more of the Milio just because he does have the range that you can get for the Aphelios, as well as the ultimate to deny some of the engage potential from the Leona. But the Lulu is really good in lane, has the polymorph as well to stop the Akali, and then also you still buff up the Aphelios really effectively, and Xin Zhao as well. Like you can technically not only buff the Aphelios, but the Xin Zhao as well, and have it so that you have double threats in that sense as well. So overall, the idea for Lotus, not necessarily bad. It's going to be a lot on what Wukong and the NACL is going to be able to accomplish. Because if they get onto the back line and kill these affiliates, the damage per value from Lotus does fall down a little bit.
Really does. With that, Repiberas have finalized their draft, as have Lotus. Game number 2, Lotus with a chance to move forward in the bracket right here, right now. Repiberas with a chance to stay alive in the upper bracket, force a game number 3, potentially pull off an upset on expectations, if not on seed. Repiberas are a slightly higher seed than Lotus, but as we should know, after 3 of these open qualifiers, the seeding not exactly 1-to-1 with how well we expect these teams to do.
Yeah, not necessarily the most equal in that sense, but no tournament is built equal. No tournament has a similar way of trying to go for things, so not surprised that it has gone into that as well in some senses. And I also wanted to mention quickly, because we were talking about matchups, Komodo is actually 1-0 down, by the way. Just quickly to mention.
Against, who are they?
Flamingos, sorry.
Oh, Flamingos is the all Brazilian team.
Yeah, I'm just finding it surprising that so far they are 1-0 down, and it looks like it could potentially be a 2-0. Quote unquote, it would be an upset, but it's still interesting to see that happening in the other matches.
Absolutely here. Eye is going to be on those second matchups to see if anybody is going to be able to pull off a big upset, maybe move a little deeper than we expect, maybe throw a wrench into the whole expected open qualifier results. Galaxy Gaming down 1-0 up against, or down 0-1, I suppose, against Milky Sports Whole Milk. Zero Animosity did take a 2-0 in their first series. So far, no massive upsets to be found quite yet. Ducky Getters taking an early lead up against Ember Foxes. Bad People and Faded 5 going to game number 3. Weber State up 1-0 over Stardust Crusaders.
Overall, everything else just feels that they are in the right place. Everything else just feels that that it's right. It's only really this one, the one that, or that one, the one that are kind of surprising, to say the least.
Yeah, I like that Stardust Crusaders team. It's Maces, Wenwin, Aquanix, Smalls, and Light and Reset. A couple of names that won't be super familiar to a lot of the community, but players who individually had some really solid ACL performances as well. Particularly Aquanic. I think that guy is insane in lane and needs some work out of it, but is a bunch of fun to watch.
Wait, I just wanted to mention quickly, I hope that Syndicate loses their next their matchup, because like if they lose, the next matchup for Lotus would be Rock Lobsters.
Ooh.
And I kind of wanna say their name and cast their name, their team. So
that's PVS's team too.
Would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a fun one. Been a long time since Miami University jungler Evil Lobster has been on stream. They got Neversaw on that team as well. A big fan of hers. So yeah, it could be a fun one. I do think Syndicate will of course be favored. Not insanely so. You know, for a second seed team, it's Karshiak, BB, Foles, McDonald's manager, and Al Calamity is the lineup, I do believe. So it's a good team, but not like an overwhelming seed 2 force that you might expect.
For what they have, I do think like they are interesting, but certainly number 2 seed feels like a little bit too high in that sense. And it does go to show like there's a bit of a problem when it's only solo queue like standing, the one that decides everything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fine with getting critique. Like I honestly, I'm fine with getting shit on by the community, but like I'd rather just do the seeding committee and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know that I disagree, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Reppy starting off his laning phase, getting the waves cleared out. Good matchup for him, especially post level 6. So if he's able to avoid getting set behind against Robbie Bob, I think this is going to go very, very well for him. And team's going to need him to pop off. They put a lot of draft resources into getting him this pick and this counter pick. Let's see what they
Laritz and Chrome are doing so much in this bot lane already. Nightstar is already below half health.
Yeah, really good use of those early trading potential before the Ziggs gets the full suite of abilities. And with a range advantage offered to you by Calibrum, they are just keeping these health bars low. Nicely done by Chrome and Claritz, just continuing to keep the pressure on. The double sorts of abilities. the Aphelios offers at level 1, taking that very slim margin of advantage and pushing it as far as they can for a couple CS lead.
They're really just making it as best as they can with that, and both junglers also are going to come down here to the bot side, maybe see a similar dive attempt coming in from Chad towards that bot lane, and if they can keep on putting so much damage onto the Six and onto Barlow, then that means that they can thread the dive in a much better manner. Even if they don't go for it, they can still try and make it so that they can just push them consistently, and then I farm from the Six. Because one of the things that the Six always has is being able to farm from a safe distance. But if he just gets pushed around really frequently, it's going to be much more difficult.
Yeah, definitely can go from bad to worse in a pretty fast order. Chrome keeps that push on in, continuing to connect these Calibrum shots. Keep health bars low. Geiger getting pushed in on the top side on his Yorick. A priority pick for many top laners in the current meta. Has a lot of success in solo queue and can really just make a lot of lanes super, super difficult for a lot of champions.
And also teleport already used down there in the bot side by the Six, so really taking a beating down there with how it's going on, like 30 to 20 CS as well. In an 80 carry against a mage matchup is sometimes surprising to see. And everywhere else, it just feels pretty comfortable. I will say though, Robbie being down in CS to the Akali was not something I was expecting, but he also got a really good setup here, so it's probably going to mess up with the Akali quite a bit.
Absolutely. Reppy in a solid early laning phase here. Did exchange those TPs and getting closer to level 6, just wants to make sure you don't get ganked by Chad too early on before you're able to establish kill threat on towards Robbie Bob's Orianna. Level 5, most of the way there. Need to be careful not to let yourself get harassed out, or if you do get harassed out, at the very least, don't give up the kill. Give up that advantage. And Chad just full clearing, so not hovering around the mid lane at this exact moment is Reppy's biggest fear.
Also already making the trade. Yeah, the swap happening already, so probably going to give them a little bit more focus towards those grubs early on. Last game, if I'm not wrong, it was 2 grubs for Reppy Bears, 1 grub for Lotus, so this time around maybe trying to get a little bit more value out of that.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to secure themselves the early grubs off of it.
Oh, Chrome
getting engaged on though, while Clarice is off warding. This may be punished. Cleanses away, avoids the bouncing bomb. Flash in from Nightstar, and first blood to the Ziggs. Clarice wanders away. Chrome does not respect the engage potential, and Reppy Beras pick back up what they've lost.
Yeah, and that was an engaged potential with no flash committed before by Barlow. So that means that Chrome was just simply way too far forward. He gets stunned and then gets committed consistently. Really bad by Chrome there, because he's now losing all the advantage that he originally had. Clarice is not going to die here, but still so much that they end up losing out of this. And now Chrome, yes, he may be getting back here with gold in his pockets to try and answer back, but look at what Six gets in comparison. He gets a full-on just lost chapter, and now he gets to perma-farm really freely.
Yeah, that pressure on top side does mean that Chad gets to go and pick on up this dragon. It did have Porsche pushing on the bottom side, and hadn't seen Colthrow in a while, perhaps making the assumption that Colthrow would be hovering top if such a play is going down. They do secure themselves dragon number 1 for their efforts. Now still going to have Chrome and Clarice up by this top side, waiting for the spawn of the grubs before too long. All in all, gold is basically even, a very slight lead to Lotus, but very good by Nightstar and Barlow to get themselves back into things after a tougher early laning phase.
Yeah, those first 3 minutes were really, really bad for them, but now that they have the first lot onto Nightstar, now that they have a little bit more control, and that they can try and push a little bit onto this turret, maybe they can start getting some plates, some more gold into the pockets of Nightstar, and also just a better setup for the team in general.
Yeah, an interesting call here. I mean, they can threaten these turrets because they have Ziggs. Obviously aren't going to get it on this push, but can make it easier to finish it off with a satchel charge later on if they get some early work done onto it. This is a tough 1 versus 2 for Geiger. We will be seeing Lotus very likely taking a free grubs for the effort. The Maiden is here to try to help Geiger out a little bit. should not be vulnerable to being dove, but it is going to be tough to just farm under here while getting constantly harassed. Look at how far behind Geiger is in CS.
Yeah, really surprising considering that it started off with some good trading from him, but then after that, Porsche has just been able to manage it out much, much better. And with that in mind, thinking about how much of a lead Porsche has right now, it does mean that Geiger, if he doesn't get value out of, at the very least, a kill or something else, his split pushing potential is really going to be just minuscule in comparison to what Porsche is going to be able to do in the rest of the game.
Yeah, such a big deficit there, and now in the lane swap, just going to make things go from bad to worse. You gotta believe as the grubs become the focus, they have
Chrome
Arlo or the numbers, and Chrome is locked inside the dark procession. He's gonna go down here unless Clarice can hit him with a massive shield and heal in just the nick of time. Keeps Chrome alive as Chad and Colthrow will find each other. Chad getting the knock up, but Colthrow with another cast of the Cyclone going to be ready. Reppy looking for Chrome, has R2, will execute him. Chad goes down as well. Feat of Warfare secured for the Reppy Beras.
Robbie now getting engaged on. He may need to run away from here. He does have ultimate. He can try and kill Geiger here, but he may just get that, and that's it.
Not there yet. He does get one back, but this is Catalyst of Eon's Orianna. He will be falling on down. Porsche shows up. Dominus popped. Goes in for the slice and dice. Good damage onto Colthrow. Giant growth as well. And Porsche will get one back. They will continue to push on towards Barlow as well. Worth calling out, no grubbies have fallen. So they can just roll back up here and take what they started.
Yeah, the weird thing though is that all in the meanwhile, when all of this was happening, Nightstar just got 2 plates freely in the bot side. He's now 10 CS ahead of Chrome. He's getting all that gold down there in the bot side, and he more than likely is going to be, yeah, first item back now for Nightstar. This is going to be a really strong 6+ teleport in his pocket. He can try and respond really comfortably to most of these plays. I don't understand really why Chad decided that he wanted to try and go in after they killed Chrome, because I don't think he was going to have a better time or a better approach there. Oh, Chad, you're dead. Where is he? Wade
getting onto Chad. Yeah, really gonna be able to finish him off. He's trying to flash away, but he doesn't have the flash. Oh, nowhere to go. Reppy Beras make themselves another pick. Continue to keep themselves in the gold lead off of these kills and collapses. 2 kills on Reppy, perhaps most meaningfully.
Yeah, much better findings that they are able to find on the side of Reppy Beras, and also just much better control they are able to get as Clarice. Probably not going to die here, but they're going to take a lot of damage.
Ooh, Nightstar gets a big launch onto him, though, keeping Clarice low. Limiting what this jungle, or what this bot support duo can do. I think another interrupt found there off of another bouncing bomb, so Nightstar pulling in overtime. Keep Clarice off the map.
Yeah, trying to make it so that Lulu is not going to be supporting the Aphelios over here. And that's important because we already saw in the first play of the game how whenever Aphelios is by himself, he's just such a big sitting dog, and it's able to get killed pretty comfortably if they're not able to stop that. As the rest of the map, though, it looks like everyone is kind of accommodating themselves really well in general. And the fact that Porsche still has this big lead is really the thing that is keeping the game as close as it is. Because apart from the top lane, mid lane and bot lane are kind of just in favor of the side of Reppy Bears.
Yeah, going to need to be able to find themselves ways for this Renekton to get involved, but I don't think this dragon fight is going to be one of them. Porsche's without TP. Geiger is as well. He's not going to be able to get down here. He's got to keep Geiger marked. So it's a 4-on-4 over the second dragon with Reppy very strong on this Kali, having a full suite of abilities. Unless Chad can find a real nice pick, it looks like the options are going to be limited. Chasing off Colthrow, but decoy will be enough to get him away. They are posturing for this dragon regardless on the side of Lotus.
We're trying to the very least get control over the objective, and I think wait, Nightstar.
A little combo.
Oh wait, actually damage.
I mean, Nightstar responds in turn. They're going to both be low on HP, but Nightstar can play at a longer range with these Ziggs abilities.
Yeah, Nightstar's damage is more meaningful here because of the range that he has, he can just try and go for it as well. Oh. Chrome is not dead.
Hit by Mega Inferno Bomb. He's basically out of the play. Chad going to try to fight it. There is going to be a big shockwave coming on through. Ultra will be executed by the max range Moonlight Vigil. Regardless, Chad is finished off with ease, and Reppy arrives to the scene to claim the kill for himself. It is a jungler for jungler trade with Lotus on ticking health bars, forced to retreat.
Clarit's almost getting killed there as well, having to back away, but no dragon falling, both teams losing their junglers, and also Chrom not dying at the end there. That is actually quite big, because if he died in that position, there's always a good chance for them to try and not only try and attempt for the turret, but also maybe make a move for the dragon in that case. But now it's going to be back to square one, back to just who can get better control of the turret, and also maybe Porsche moving down there. He's backing at this point, so maybe he wants to try and move down to the bot side to help with the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, with Shockwave down, I think Robbie could be responsible for holding the top lane, but Porsche is still here, actually. He's going to look for another trade onto Geiger, trying to create himself advantages in the one-on-one wherever he can produce them. And Lotus are going to try to start up this dragon anyway, but Repi Barras are onto him. They've got the members here. I am still concerned about Lotus's ability to execute this fight.
I don't think they're far ahead enough to start it off here, or at the very least strong enough to try and fight as well. Chrome.
It's a flash engage on Chrome. He doesn't have the summoners. He will get blown up, but another clutch shield out of Clarit's will be enough to barely keep him alive. Still, flash is forced out of both bot laners. Health bars too low to do anything with, and Lotus are forced off the play basically for free. Mega Inferno Bomb, Nightstar connects onto Chrome and gets himself a second.
No, Chrome was there. Like, was that just a blind attempt and hoping for the best?
Yeah. Think so.
Another kill for Nightstar, 2-0. For how the game started, he's been just shutting them down so effectively. And they get the dragon now in the favor of Repi Barras. It's not only the dragon, it's not only the kills, it's the control of the game that Repi Barras have at this point, which is really important for them. As Nightstar coming here, I don't think they can kill Renekton though. Yeah, I don't think they can kill him, so it's going to be pretty comfortable. Just going to be collecting the farm, and that's about it.
Forced away from the objective yet again are Lotus. And these feats looking more and more like they're going to be in Repi Barras' favor. They did do so well in the kills department, and they have secured themselves so much damage onto these turrets earlier on. Very likely that Nightstar is going to be able to execute one of them sooner rather than later. And picking up anti-tank itemization is Repi. Wants to make sure he's still able to damage the big health bars, the likes of Porsche and Chad, as well as whatever Clarit's is buffing up, thanks to that Leandries. So going for that instead of sorts of Storm Surge or Proto-Bell builds that you're seeing a little bit more frequently.
It's more, those are more damage oriented, I would say. This is more, like, how to say, like more sticking potential kind of build.
Yeah,
not in the sense that it's to try and get on top of you, but the damage will stick, and that long-term damage may be more important to try and deal with someone like a Chrome or someone like Robbie than just the straight up burst, especially against a Lulu well positioned.
Very close to finishing that off is Nightstar. You saw that he just committed the satchel charge, but I think he was just outside of the threshold.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have to wait a while before satchel charge is going to be back up. Rift Herald already been started. Chad making a move over into this direction. It's only Geiger who's in this long brush. Barlow creating space. Colthrow already started to whack away. Half HP for the Rift Herald. Going to be forced to decoy out of there. Bouncing bombs over the wall. TP being channeled by both mid laners. Robbie arrives, but immediately takes a boatload of damage. Has to flash away to safety. The Rift Herald has been smited down by Chad. Mega Inferno Bomb. Make it good on its name as it chunks everybody low, but Repi has been cut down by Chrome before he could finish off an execution. It's a 1-for-0 for Lotus so far, and they got the Rift Herald. Chad going to be able to flash away, and Lotus, heist complete, get themselves everything they came for and more.
Herald, kill, nobody dies. Full-on victory for the side of Lotus there. Now, there's still a few remnants here that maybe they can try and get on the side of Repi Barras, particularly the top lane turret. It can be collected after this play because there is 3 members on the top side and it's only Porsche with no ulti. I don't think it's a smart idea for him to stay too long here because it can be just enough to get killed at this point. But overall, the play that they are able to get on the side of Lotus is really good. Not only do they get the kills, but having the Rift Herald now to try and open up the map a little bit more is going to be really essential for them. Not in the sense that getting the extra gold from the turret or the 150, but just opening up a little bit more space for having flank angle potential is going to be important for them to try and kill Nightstar. That's the main way that they can try and kill the 6.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about the risks, but Porsche made it work there as he did clear out the wave and keep the turret alive. So first turret still up for grabs. Lotus one objective away from being able to get that feat into their pockets. Or no, actually, they've already got the feat because they got the Rift Herald as well. So it is coming down to whoever picks up first turret or who is going to get the upgraded boots.
Could be a really ideal way of trying to get more value there, but after that play, even though there is still a slight lead for Nightstar, pretty sure Chrome is back to a point where he can try and fight it out, and especially as soon as he gets level 2 or item number 2, he can try and collect a little bit more potential damage in the fight. They're also looking for the mid lane turret. Nobody's here to protect. There is no teleport for Nightstar, no teleport for Reppy, so this could be a pretty free turret.
Yep, they do get themselves the feats. They bring the gold to even. Lotus is going to be able to trade back onto a turret and take the gold lead back for themselves. Now going to get back in this Rift Herald, rotate it down to bottom. Chad trialing for his driver's license. Looks like he will be able to successfully navigate Shelly all the way down here. And they will crash it into the tower. Robbie trying to get a little bit more damage on through with the 3 grubs, but not enough to finish off the turret.
Yeah, second crash there, not enough to get the kill, but at the very least enough to pull enough damage onto the turret and make it a little bit better for themselves. As also Chrome just keeps on collecting a little bit more gold. Porsche is also going to get a top lane turret, so just like that, 2.5 turrets going in the favor of Lotus, able to open up them up a little bit better. And also they are able to make it so that the value that the side of Repiverse is trying to look for is not really going to be achieved because they haven't been able to get on enough members anymore. Even if they control the dragon here, it's not like Lotus needs to fight it because it's only the second dragon of the game. Oh.
And Porsche left alone there for a long time as they sent Geiger super early to the dragon play, but now they have him for dragon number 3. Porsche just recalled. He just gets TP back, though. TPing into mid. Reppy Barrows with the start onto the dragon, but there's going to be the full force of Lotus here to try to respond to them. They might look for the fight afterwards to punish them as they look to peel off. No, actually, they're just going to full send it onto mid lane. Say, hey, Reppy Barrows have overcommitted to this dragon. How much can we take for it? Chad waiting onto the pathway in, trying to start on off the fight if necessary. Robbie Bob is here to fend them away with the ball as well. Is just
Geiger
to get in there on towards Geiger and Reppy. Reppy going to pop the ultimate to start the dive on forward. Still has the second cast of perfect execution to try to pump through a little bit more damage and execute somebody like Claritz, but doesn't see the angle to get in. Reppy Barrows pushed back, but they got their dragon and they got out without losing anybody.
Nobody died. It's dragon for Repiverse, and really nobody really get able to find. Oh, that's a big commitment there for Chrome.
You flash ulti from Barlow in trade for Chrome's cleanse.
I don't even think Chrome needed to cleanse there, but at the same time, just for safety, probably the right choice. Now, it is cleansed down for future fights, which is going to be quite important. But like you're mentioning, Barlow's flash is also really important for engage purposes. If he doesn't have his flash, reaching someone like Chrome or someone like Robbie Bob is going to be a little bit harder, and it's going to enable them to be able to play team fights comfortably much better.
Yeah. Robbie just fully ticked up his Rod of Ages, so he gets the bonus level there. Item has really started to pay off for him for being in a little bit of a power trough earlier on when he was taking those topside skirmishes on just Catalyst. This is the reward. He now finishes off Leandries, is 2 items strong, has a pretty solid health bar, and the ability to pump out substantial damage from this Orianna. He's a little bit beefier as well. Makes it harder for Reppy's Akali to get a lot of value onto him. Porsche's going to be found by Barlow and Colthrow here. He's got a 3-level advantage on Colthrow, a 5-level advantage on Barlow. He doesn't really care.
Is just trying to make the most out of what he already has, and for what he has, it's going to be really difficult to try and deal with that.
Really want to get onto a second legendary item here. He did stop off at Executioner's Calling, try to minimize the healing that Geiger is doing, but certainly would like to have a second full item when coming into these team fight situations.
It's difficult to play against these goals whenever you're a mage because you know that you're not one-shotting them.
Yep.
Compared to something, and I think that's a funny thing when you compare it to something. Oh, Claritz.
Yeah, I mean that's the damage from the Ziggs. You got to respect another bouncing bomb, well positioned by Nightstar, keeping Claritz honest.
Oh, they are doing
lazy with your dodging here. You might just die.
Atakan is dying. They are starting Atakan here. They do know about this, but can they be quickly enough so that they can take it down? That's the main question.
Somebody put down a ward for Robbie to TP to. They've thrown down a couple. Robbie's coming in. He's going to be deep behind enemy lines. They will be able to get the Otacon, but what about the follow-up fight? Melting down cold throw. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Clarice falls down as well. Reppy going to be a little bit isolated. Gets hit by the Moonlight Vigil, but will not be enough to finish him off. Robbie Bob over the wall, into the back line, throws down the Shockwave, locks down Geiger, and will give a second kill over the lights of Lotus. Now chasing down onto Barlow is Chrome. Chrome taking way too much damage, though. Nightstar going to blow him up. Shutdown given over to the bot laner of the Reppy Barons, but it's going to be a trade of Barlow to be able to get there. And Reppy, meanwhile, TP'd bot to start working on this turret.
So much confidence there by Chrome with no cleanse. Reppy almost dying, not enough there. But it's still Atacant in favor of the side of Lotus, plus a teamfight victory. You're able to push even more minions into the turret. The only thing that really is working out really effectively for the side of Reppy Bears is the 6. Yes, the Akali is 4-1, but her impact more so in teamfights hasn't been her being able to locate a target and assassinate it, but more so dealing with what's remaining on the side that she can 100% kill, because her effectiveness as the assassin really hasn't been shown as much as possible, where Nightstar's poke, damage from a safe distance, has been more meaningful and more impactful to try and get kills.
And with that, Lotus find themselves back in control over this game. Decisive fight win for them, plus the Otacon buff. I mean, Porsche is just so far ahead of the pace of the game. He's been given so much alone time with these waves and with these turrets. He's level 15. He's about to get another turret here. Just staring down Reppy, daring him to look for an engage, as he now has that full item advantage that we talked about pursuing earlier on. Plus the Executioner's calling just for a little bit extra on top. He's going to hit the Flame Horizon here soon.
And importantly, it's also all of that just as Dragon is going to spawn. That's going to be 10 seconds for the next Dragon. They have everyone in place. It's going to be also the second Dragon for Lotus, so it's not something that I would assume Reppy Bears wants to try and fight for. But it's a situation where if they don't have something to respond with, be it taking down the mid lane turret or something else, it can be really difficult to try and find something back. And I think they are going to be looking for that mid lane turret. Actually, no. Oh, wait.
Looking for a flank behind, but it's been spotted and tracked the whole way by Lotus. Reppy loses half HP, a massive shockwave found by Robbie Bob to get the fight started in earnest, as Reppy's already been melted down. Cold Throw going to join it before too long, and Solar Flare is not connecting onto anybody. Clarice will get found by the Mega Inferno Bomb. That's where you got to keep your wits about you in regards to the dodging game, but Chrome will survive, and this Dragon will go the way of Lotus. It's a fight win for them either way.
Clarice with the rage squid after getting killed by the ultimate there. More than likely, probably just disconnected without meaning to, or and then got killed. But like, it's such a hilarious scene. Just as you die, then disconnected. Right there, perfect timing.
Yeah, hold up here, TDS. This is where I am the expert now, all right? I have seen a lot of Lulus leave the game immediately after getting hit by a Mega Inferno Bomb and one shot from half HP. I don't think this is a mistake.
Yeah, probably. Clarice was mad about dying there. I can see it in the Lulus.
All right, we're back.
Nice.
They talked him down off the ledge. Clarice is back.
See, it didn't last that long.
Listen, the fact that it's 10-9 on the scoreboard too, if your scoreboard's even remotely negative when that happens, I don't care how hard you're winning the game. Lulu's out of there, baby. But Clarice...
That's also such a perfect angle to kill, because he doesn't only hit Clarice, he also hit Chrome. He almost solo killed Chrome as well.
That would have been... That could have been it. I mean, you could have gotten the double DC. 5v3
Bot lane DC, the game is over, series is done, the Lotus to lower bracket.
Listen, tilting them has been an established professional strategy for a long time.
True.
Reppy Bears are just the latest in a long line of users of such tactics. We'll see if tilting them will be enough to put them in the lead. Coming into the back half of this game, as Lotus find themselves in an advantage state as we enter the later stages. Scaled up on their critical carries, 2-2 in the Dragon department. Otacon buff at their backs, and Baron finally up for the taking.
One of the good things though for the side of Reppy Bears is that Nightstar being on 6 means that wave clear is going to be really good. So at the very least, pushing into base is not going to be as easy as it could have been for other members. that still doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for Nightstar to do everything by himself or everything to try and put a stop to it, but it makes it harder for Lotus to try and find a fight as multiple members here. Whoa,
Bardo and cold throw. Robbie Bob maybe wishing that he hadn't gotten this fight started, though, as he is going to get
Great
hit by the big
shockwave.
Inferno Bomb. Does get a shockwave onto 2. Clarice trying to escape on the opposite side, going to flash out away from the Maiden to keep himself safe. And here comes Porsche on the flank. Does cut off Barlow and Nightstar. Going to have to satchel charge his way back over the wall to regroup with the rest of the team as Chad coming in through the jungle. The rest of Reppy Bears will be able to fall back and hide underneath this turret, but Lotus have control over the quadrant, and they will be looking at this Baron as well if they manage to get some recalls forced.
Yeah, they're pinging it. They are trying to make it so that they can get control over the area and then immediately move forward to Baron buff. There is a ward here that is going to stop that, but it's already started, and they have everything in their power to try and just go for it. There's no teleports available for Geiger here, but Geiger stayed, Reppy stayed. It's only really the Leona that is not close by.
And now moving on to the Baron are the rest of Lotus, and there just isn't a response. Yet the attempt to get in there for the steal, but Colthrow cannot secure it. Reppy now marked on the opposite side. Wind becomes lightning, connects, and Crow will be able to pick up that kill. Now here's
they find Nightstar.
Diving forward on towards Nightstar, who's going to have to flash back over the wall, but Chad connected. The Wind becomes lightning already. Moonlight fits for the stacks. Triple kill to Chrome. Or steals away what could have been a pentakill. But it will be Lotus rocking a quadra kill on their marksman and marching towards the Nexus. I think they can end the game here, TDS.
Yeah, that's it. I think this game, it's Chrome with also the wide guns, so they have enough damage here to take down turrets, and just as they did to take down so many champions as well. Really counter game here by the side of Lotus. It started so well for Nightstar, but huge props to Porch and Chad. I think they both played so well this game.
Yeah, props to the Reppy Bears for putting up a good fight here.
Yeah.
But it will be Lotus 2-0 on the series, 4-0 on the day. Moving on to the next round of the upper bracket. So we reduce down to 16 teams up here. Lotus will count themselves among them, and will look to keep that train rolling as they try to get themselves into the NACL promotion tournament.
Still a bit of a long way towards that point. There's also the lower bracket side of it, but there's a lot of things to do, and I think Lotus at the very least looking really strong. They controlled the game like they needed to, they won the game like they needed to, and Chrome, even for a couple of the major hiccups that he had, nothing out of the ordinary after that to try and win the game. He did so much damage, still did such a good job at trying to come back into the game effectively, and I feel a little bit more bad for Nightstar though, because he did so much damage and so much this game, and just one bad fight defining everything for him.
Yeah, for sure. What a run here from Lotus on the day. I mean, favored to win these matches, but still some very impressive showings from Chrome in particular. Showing why this guy has pulled himself out of tier 3 a number of times, and looking like he is well poised to be able to do so again, this time with a squad filled with people who have tried to get into the NACL quite a few times. Some have been there for short periods, but still haven't quite been able to win out the promotion tournaments as of late. We'll see if Chrome is going to be the factor that lets Lotus get on through this time.
Someone like Chrome certainly has the ability to be able to pull it off. That being said, I think the rest of the team also is stepping up quite nicely, and if they can all come together, this could be one of the best opportunities for the side of Lotus to be able to do it. Also, considering the teams that are already in the NACL relegation tournament, depending on if Lotus arrives there or not, it's going to be a really fun tournament.
Yeah, absolutely agree here. I think there are a couple of exciting teams here in the open qualifiers. Looking across the rest of the matchups, let's see what we've got here for who has been able to move on so far. Prosperity X APM does take a 2-0 over Guangdong Flying Tigers. Milky Sports Whole Milk with a 2-0 over Gravity. Already called out Zero Animosity earlier. Flamingos did 2-0 Komodo. So Komodo will be heading down to the lower bracket. Faded 5 take a 2-1 over Bad People. Zenshi take a 2-0 as well. And Weber State with a 2-0 over Stardust Crusaders will move on to the next round.
Yeah, all in all, a lot of the expected results end up coming through for most of the games. I think obviously the most surprising one probably feels like to be Flamingos Komodo getting 2-0'd. That being said, it's not like if Flamingos was a 99 Gorillas. Like they actually looked like a decent enough team that they could make a surprise happen here and there.
Yeah, it's the all BR player team. So excited
Exactly.
to see them finding some success here. Lots of players here for
Well, they would
various.
play if they win, right? If both teams win, they would end up playing.
Yes, I do believe so. That's a bit of an ask, but if they were to, it yeah, definitely would be. Syndicate versus Rock Lobsters has to come first. The winner of that will be Lotus's next opponent. Flamingos will play the winner of Ducky Getters Ember Foxes. Ducky Getters currently up 1-0 in
Yep.
that series. But that's going to do it for Aegis coverage here today, TDS. A little bit of a quick day, thanks to Lotus in
Double
4-0
2-0s.
fashion, taking down all comers.
Yeah, certainly. We did have our highlights though, like the Blitzcrank game on 99 Gorillas. Certainly, probably the highest highlight so far for me this day. But overall, really good performance by Lotus. And the more they play together, the more they probably are going to stack up for the side of the NACL OQ's qualification.
Absolutely here on that. Like we said, that is going to do it. So we're going to raid over to the Blue Otter Premier League, where the Spire and Team Solo Invade are playing their Week 4 matchups. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us, and enjoy the rest of the Open Qualifier. We will be back tomorrow with more Lotus games. Be different casters, I do believe. At least I'm not going to be here. I don't know about you, TDS.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Quacks.
All right, so it's going to be 2 other casters. I'm not sure exactly who off the top of my head. Apologize to those guys, but they will be excellent. Definitely want to be here to see how Lotus is going to be able to do in day number 2 as the matchups start to get more difficult. And we will be back on Monday as well with the ACL. We're going to have Prosperity versus Lotus as the Monday featured matchup in round number 1 of playoffs. And that one is going to be a party, so you're not going to want to miss it. Hope to see you guys both of those days. So plenty of uncapped Aegis action to go all the way today through Tuesday. Tomorrow, same time, 4 Eastern for the beginning of the Open Qualifiers. We hope to see you there. Until then, have yourselves a great day. For myself, Caddy, and TDS.